Introduction: The Lost User Manual. Welcome to the user manual they forgot to give you at birth. For years you have heard talk about the law of attraction, the secret, and manifestation. You have read the books, you have pasted photos on vision boards, and you have repeated positive affirmations until you lost your voice. And yet, if we are brutally honest, your life remains suspiciously the same. Sometimes you have small strokes of luck, yes, but the great transformation, total freedom and absolute power over your reality, slips through your fingers like water. Why? Because you have been operating with the wrong instructions. You have been using metaphysics like an aspirin to calm your anxiety, when in reality, metaphysics is a laser scalpel designed to rewrite the source code of existence. Let me tell you an ancient story, a parable about human madness that explains your current situation. Imagine a man who wakes up one morning, walks into the bathroom and looks at himself in the mirror. He notices that his hair is totally messy, dirty and disheveled. Annoyed by what he sees, he grabs a comb. But, instead of bringing it to his own head, he starts frantically scraping the surface of the glass. He tries to comb the man in the mirror. He scrapes and scrapes. He gets frustrated. He starts screaming at the image. He sweats from so much effort. He begs the mirror to change. He fights with the reflection. But no matter how much he struggles, the image remains disheveled. At the end of the day, the man collapses exhausted, crying, convinced that the mirror is broken, or that the universe is against him. Does it seem absurd to you? Do you laugh at him? Don't laugh so fast, because that is exactly what you have been doing with your life until today. The physical world, your finances, your relationships, your body and your circumstances, is not solid. It is a giant mirror. It is the delayed reflection of your own consciousness. Most of humanity spends its life fighting the mirror. They try to change poverty by working more hours, combing the glass. They try to change their partners by arguing and manipulating, screaming at the glass. They try to heal the body by attacking only the physical symptom. It is a useless, tragic, and exhausting waste of energy. For the image in the mirror to smile, you cannot force the mirror to smile. You have to smile first. You have to stop touching the glass and bring your hands back to the source, to yourself. In this audiobook, titled Metaphysics That Actually Works, we are going to stop playing games. We are going to leave behind superficial, positive thinking and New Age superstitions. We will delve into the hidden mechanics of reality. We will talk about ancestral protocols, the physics of multiverses, Toltec wisdom, and the hermetic laws that govern the hologram in which you live. You will learn that you do not need force to change the world. You only need to understand how the projector works. Chapter 1: The Assembly Point, Toltec Technology. Imagine you are sitting in a totally dark room. You can see nothing. However, you have a powerful flashlight in your hand. You turn the flashlight on and point it toward a corner. You see an old chair. You point it toward another corner. You see a beautiful painting. You point it toward the floor. You see a dirty carpet. For you in that moment, reality is only what the flashlight is illuminating. If the flashlight points to the old chair, your reality is a room with an old chair. The beautiful painting does not exist for you because it is not illuminated. Now, imagine that flashlight rusts. It gets stuck in a single position, pointing fixedly at the dirty carpet. Years pass. You keep sitting there. You come to believe with total conviction that the entire universe is a dirty carpet. You get depressed. You feel poor. You feel limited. Someone walks in and tells you, "Hey, there is a beautiful painting 2 meters away from you." You scream at them, "Liar, I'm a realist. Look at the floor. This is all there is." It's not that you are blind. It's that your focus mechanism has calcified. Welcome to the best-kept secret of the seers of ancient Mexico. Welcome to the technology of the assembly point. Most modern metaphysics teaches you to decorate the dirty carpet, positive thinking. Ancestral metaphysics teaches you to move the flashlight. In this first chapter, we are going to discover that you are not a victim of a solid and cruel world. You are a magical perceiver who has forgotten how to turn the dial of reality. The luminous egg, your true anatomy. To understand this technology, we must stop seeing ourselves as bodies of flesh and bone. That is a very limited view, useful for biology, but useless for magic. The ancient Toltec seers, capable of seeing energy as it flows in the universe, described human beings not as solid objects, but as luminous eggs. Imagine a sphere of pure energy, the size of your arms extended upward and to the sides. This sphere is composed of millions of filaments of light, living fibers that vibrate, and the external universe is also composed of infinite filaments of energy, the band of emanations of the eagle. Now pay attention, because here is the key to your existence. On the surface of that luminous egg, at the height of your shoulder blades but an arm's length behind your back, there is a point of greater brilliance. It is a spot of intense light, the size of a tennis ball. The sorcerers called it the assembly point, or point of assemblage. What is its function? It is the channel selector. Of the millions of energy filaments that exist in the universe, only a small group passes directly through that specific point. The filaments that pass through the assembly point light up and become sensory perception. They become what you call the world. Table, chair, tree, money, debt, love, pain, and all of those are simply filaments of energy that your assembly point is selecting right now. The rest of the filaments, the infinite worlds, the other possibilities, the versions of you that are rich or healthy, are there, brushing against your luminous egg. But because they do not pass through the assembly point, they are invisible to you. They are the nagual, the unknown. The curse of fixation. When we are born, our assembly point is flexible. Watch a baby. Sometimes they look into the void and smile. Sometimes they get scared of something you don't see. Their point is wandering. It is assembling other worlds. They are not yet a functional human being, but then the process of domestication begins. Parents, teachers, and society tell them, that doesn't exist. Look here. This is a table. This is important. Little by little, we force the child to fix their assembly point in the same position as ours. We force them to tune into the channel of reason and the consensus world. By age 3 or 4, the point is fixed, it is bolted down. The child becomes a productive member of society, but they pay a terrible price. They lose their fluidity. The tragedy of modern man is not that his life is bad. The tragedy is that his assembly point has rusted in a single position. We call that position everyday reality. You wake up, go to work, see the same streets, feel the same emotions. Day after day, year after year. You think the world is boring and repetitive. It isn't. The world is a bubbling, magical chaos. What is repetitive is your focus. Your assembly point is so rigid, it can no longer assemble anything new. This is what the Toltecs called living death. Aging is not biological. Here is a revelation that can change your health. The shamans said that old age is not the deterioration of cells. Cellular deterioration is only a symptom. Old age is the calcification of the assembly point. When you are young, your point vibrates. You have curiosity, energy, excitement. As you fill yourself with judgments, I already know it all, attitudes, grudges, and routines, the point becomes heavy. Mental rigidity creates biological rigidity. A 20-year-old can be old if their assembly point is nailed to cynicism and apathy. An 80-year-old can be young if they maintain the fluidity of perception. If you want to rejuvenate, you don't just need creams. You need oil for your assembly point. You need to move the flashlight again. Poverty and wealth, 2 positions on the dial. Let's apply this to money. Poverty is not the absence of bills. Poverty is a specific position of the assembly point. In that position, the filaments that light up are scarcity, struggle, I don't deserve, it's hard. As long as your point is anchored there, you can work 20 hours a day and you will return to being poor. Because your assemblage of reality demands poverty for the sake of consistency. Your antenna only picks up the FM poverty station. Even if they play the music of wealth right next to you, you won't hear it. Wealth is another position of the assembly point. It is a position where the filaments of opportunity, flow, ease, and connection are assembled. To change your economy, you have to move the point. The law of attraction tries to attract things toward your current position. Toltec technology tells you, displace yourself to the position where those things are natural. Don't attract money to the neighborhood of poverty. Move to the neighborhood of wealth. The mechanism of movement, free energy. To move the assembly point, only one thing is needed: energy, but not just any energy, not food calories. The sorcerers called it free energy or personal power. The problem is that all your energy is already committed. Where do you spend your energy? You spend 90% of your energy sustaining your self-image and keeping your assembly point fixed. You spend energy worrying about what others say. You spend energy defending your opinions. You spend energy feeling offended. You spend energy reviewing your past over and over. That consumes industrial amounts of power. That is why when you try to manifest something new, you are exhausted. You have no fuel to push the assembly point to a new position. It's like trying to move a car with an empty tank. The first step of metaphysics that actually works is energetic austerity. Technique 1. Stopping the internal dialogue. What keeps the assembly point nailed in place? What is the glue? It is your internal dialogue. You spend the day telling yourself who you are and what the world is like. That constant conversation reaffirms the point's position. It is like a hammer hitting a nail over and over so it doesn't move. The world is the way it is because you tell yourself it is that way. The sorcerers discovered that if you manage to stop that internal dialogue, even for a few seconds, the world collapses. The glue dissolves. The assembly point becomes free. In that mental silence, you can see things that were previously invisible. Practice. Walk down the street. Instead of looking at the ground and talking to yourself about your problems, look up. Do not stare fixedly at anything. Use peripheral vision, a 180-degree panoramic view. Try to see the treetops and your shoes at the same time without moving your eyes. This saturates the visual channel. The brain cannot process so much information and talk at the same time. The dialogue stops. Technique 2. Not doing, breaking routine. Your assembly point loves routine. Routine numbs it and fixes it. To loosen it, you must practice not doing. Doing is everything that forms your habitual reality. Not doing is any action that breaks the logic of your continuity. If you always brush your teeth with your right hand, do it with your left. If you always sleep on the same side of the bed, switch. If you always go to work by the same route, take another. If you are a serious person, do something ridiculous. These seem like trivial things, but energetically they are bombs. You are telling your energy structure, I am not an automaton, I am fluid. Movement downward versus movement upward. A vital warning. The assembly point can move toward many positions. If you take alcohol or drugs, the point moves, but it moves downward, toward the position of the beast, of confusion. Reality is altered, yes, but you lose power and consciousness. If you get depressed or full of rage, the point moves toward positions of personal hells. We seek movement upward or lateral to the left. We seek positions of sobriety, power, and silence. You don't need substances to move the point. You need unbending intent. Intent is not a wish. It is a silent and vibrant command. Stalking, the art of stealth. Finally, the Toltecs taught the art of stalking. To live in society and move your assembly point, you cannot go around behaving like a madman. The stalker is one who moves among common people, looks like one of them, but internally is not there. You play the social game, you go to work, you pay taxes, you smile at parties, but you know it's a game. You don't identify with it. Your social self is just a disguise, a uniform you put on to operate in this specific position of the assembly point. But you know you are the infinite. This controlled folly gives you an enormous advantage. No one can hurt you because you don't take yourself seriously. The invitation of the Nagual. This first chapter is an invitation to wake up from the shared dream. They have told you that reality is hard, solid, and difficult. They lied to you. Reality is a gas. It is smoke. It solidifies only because you stare at it from the same angle every day. Dare to move your head. Dare to shift the focus. Dare to let go of the reason that tells you what is possible and what is not. Your past does not define you. Your past is only the memory of where your assembly point was yesterday. Today, you can assemble a world of magic, synchronicity, and abundance. The rust is falling off. Start illuminating the corners they told you didn't exist. Chapter 2. The secret of the Kahunas, the three selves. Imagine you are the captain of a gigantic ship. You are on the bridge, scanning the horizon with your binoculars. You see a paradise island in the distance, the island of your success, of your perfect health, of your ideal love. You shout the order through the megaphone. All hands to starboard. Head for that island. You are the captain. You have the authority. You have the clear vision. But the ship does not turn. The ship continues going straight toward the coral reefs where it is going to crash. You shout louder. I said turn. I am the one in charge here. You make positive affirmations. The ship is turning, the ship is turning. But the ship does not move even a millimeter. Finally, you crash. You sink. And as you drown, you think, the law of navigation is a lie. I gave the order and it didn't work. What you forgot, dear captain, is that the rudder is not on the bridge. The rudder is in the engine room. The rudder is in the depths of the ship, in the darkness where you never go down. And in the engine room there is a crew member. That crew member is the one who actually has his hands on the wheel, the one who controls the fuel. If that crew member does not listen to you, he will not turn the ship. Or worse yet, if he hates you because you have ignored and mistreated him for years, he will not turn the wheel. It doesn't matter how much you scream from above. If the one below doesn't want to, there is no journey. Welcome to the wisdom of the Kahunas, the guardians of the secret of Hawaii. They understood thousands of years ago what modern psychology is only beginning to suspect. You are not one. You are a community. To manifest reality, it is not enough to want. You have to align the three beings that live inside your skin. If your visualizations don't work, it's because there is a civil war inside you. Chapter 2 is about how to sign the peace treaty and get the crew member in the engine room to hand you the key to the miracle, the Hawaiian Trinity, the work team. Western religion spoke to us of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Freud spoke to us of id, ego, and superego, but the Kahunas had a much more practical and operative classification for magic. They said that the human being is composed of three distinct spirits, united in one physical body. The Wu-Wei, middle self, mother, conscious. This is you right now, the one listening to this audio. The one with logic, reason, and will. The captain of the ship. Its function is to guide and decide. But it has one great flaw. It has no power of its own. It cannot generate energy, mana, and it cannot perform miracles. It can only give orders. The Unihipili, lower self, child, subconscious. This is the crew member in the engine room. It is your emotional, instinctive, and visceral part. It is the storehouse of all your memory. The Unihipili is like a small child. It does not reason. It feels. It is literal. It is stubborn. But it has two things that you, Wu-Wei, desperately need. It has the mana, the vital energy. Without its energy, your thoughts are ghosts without strength. It has the telephone connection. It is the only one who can call the higher self. You do not have a direct line. The Aumakua, higher self, father, superconscious. It is your individualized divinity. It is the perfect version of you that lives outside of time and space. The Aumakua is the divine architect. It is the one who weaves reality. It is the one who makes coincidences happen, heals the broken bone, and brings the unexpected money. The Aumakua always loves you and always wants to give you what you ask for. But it has one rule. It only acts when it receives a request charged with mana from below. The broken telephone protocol. Here is the great secret that commercial law of attraction omits, and that is why it fails. You, conscious, believe that when you visualize, you are speaking to God, superconscious. You believe you can say, "Universe, bring me a car." Error. You do not have a direct line to the universe. The cable is cut. The communication protocol is hierarchical and strict. The conscious you must deliver the desire, the image, to the subconscious child. The subconscious child must accept that desire, charge it with emotional energy, mana, and send it upward to the superconscious, father. The superconscious receives the packet of energy, transforms it into physical reality, and returns it as a rain of blessings. Do you see the problem? Everything passes through the intermediary, the Unihipili, the inner child. If you have a terrible relationship with your subconscious, if you have filled it with fears, if you have repressed it, if you have ignored it, if you criticize it, how fat I am, how stupid I am. The child will not deliver your message. The child will look at your desire for wealth and say, "No, I don't want to. I'm afraid or I'm angry with you." And it will cut the line. You will be left visualizing on the bridge, but the message will never leave the ship. The aumakua will never receive the order. Metaphysics fails because your own subconscious is sabotaging the delivery of the mail. The abusive captain syndrome. Let's analyze your relationship with your unihippely. Imagine you have a small child in your care. That child takes care of everything vital. He makes your heart beat, digests your food, makes you breathe while you sleep, warns you of danger. He works 24/7 for you. And you, how do you treat him? When you make a mistake, you tell him, "Idiot, you always ruin it." When he is afraid, you tell him, "Shut up, don't be a coward." When he is tired, you force him to work more with coffee and stimulants. You fill him with junk, horror news, violent movies, toxic food. You never say thank you. You never play with him. Your unihippely is resentful. He is hurt. He feels like a slave. And now you come along, being very spiritual, and say to him, "Hey, slave, send a request to the big boss to send us $1 million. The unihippely looks at you and says, "What for? So you have more power and mistreat me more? No, better we stay like this." Or worse yet, the unihippely is full of guilt. Religion, society, and family have taught him that money is bad, sex is dirty, and you are worthless. The child feels dirty, and a child who feels dirty is afraid to talk to his father, the aumakua. He thinks, if I call the father, he is going to punish me because I am bad. So he blocks the connection to protect himself. Most manifestation blocks are simply a frightened or guilty inner child who refuses to pick up the phone. The seduction of the subconscious. Metaphysics that works starts with an internal reconciliation. You have to stop giving orders and start seducing your subconscious. You have to treat it like a partner, not like a servant. You have to win its trust again. How is this done? The Kahunas used love and persuasion. You have to start talking to him or her. Yes, talking to yourself. Give your unihippely a name. Often it is your own name in diminutive, or a name you like. Say, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry for having ignored you for so long. I'm sorry for having burdened you with my judgments. Thank you for keeping me alive. I love you." This is not cheesiness. It is operative strategy. When you say "I love you" to your subconscious, it begins to relax. It begins to release the mana it was holding back in the form of muscle tension and stress. That released mana is the fuel you need for the magic. The mana ritual, the overcharge. For a request to reach the aumakua, higher self, it has to go with an overcharge of energy. Like a rocket that needs a lot of fuel to break gravity. That fuel is mana. The unihippely generates mana through food and air, but above all, through intense emotion. That is why rituals work. Not because of the candles or the incense, but because the ritual excites the inner child. The child likes games, colors, dramas, theatrical gestures. If you sit bored to visualize, the child falls asleep. Little mana. Weak signal. If you do a psychomagic ritual, writing the desire, burning it, dancing, crying, laughing, the child gets excited. We are making magic. It releases a massive wave of mana. That wave is what carries the image of the desire through the aka thread, the etheric channel, to the aumakua. Hona breathing technique, ha breathing. The Kahunas knew that mana can be accumulated consciously. Inhale deeply, counting to 4. Hold the breath, counting to 4. Exhale, counting to 4. Stay without air, counting to 4. Repeat this for a few minutes. Imagine that with each breath you are filling your body with light, like a battery being charged. Tell your unihippely, we are accumulating power to send a gift to the Father. When you feel a tingling in your hands or heat in your body, you have extra mana. That is the moment to visualize. Visualize your desire and tell your child, look at this, isn't it pretty? Let's ask for it. And then, imagine that you launch that image propelled by a jet of light upward through your crown. That is sending the packet. The problem of guilt and the original Ho'oponopono. If your unihippely feels guilt, it will not send the mana. Guilt is the most perfect insulator in existence. It blocks the divine connection 100%. That is why, before asking for anything, you must clean. This is where the real Ho'oponopono comes in. It is not just repeating, "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you," like a parrot. It is a process of error rectification. Ho'o, to make, cause, plus pono, to straighten, correct. It means to make things right. It means sitting down with your inner child and saying, "Look, that memory of pain, of poverty, of abuse that we keep, it doesn't serve us, it hurts us. We are going to let it go. We are not guilty. We did what we could." The Kahunas believed that negative memories are stored as complexes or blocks of black energy in the etheric body of the Unihipili. You have to ask the Aumakua to come down and clean those spots. The process is, you identify the problem, e.g. fear of not having money. You talk to your child. "I'm sorry for having kept this memory of scarcity. It is not ours, let's let it go." You ask the father, Aumakua, "Father, take this memory and transmute it into pure light." You wait and trust. The Aumakua will send down a high-frequency energy, mana loa, that will dissolve the block. When you clear the guilt and the fear, the channel becomes free. Then manifestation is instantaneous. Miracles are simply the normal functioning of a human system that has no clogs in the plumbing. How to know if your Unihipili agrees? Sometimes you, conscious, want something, but you don't know if your child, subconscious, agrees. How do you know? Ask it. The body is the domain of the Unihipili. He controls the muscles. You can use the muscle test, kinesiology, or the pendulum. This is not external witchcraft. It is communication with your own subconscious through muscle micro-movements. Do the test. Stand up, say, "I want to be a millionaire." If your body sways forward, it's a yes. Your child is aligned. You have a green light. If your body sways backward, it's a no. Your child has fear, guilt, or a contrary belief. The rich are evil. If it gives you a no, do not try to manifest yet. It would be a waste of time. First, you have to negotiate. Why don't you want to? What scares you? Listen to the answer, which will come as an emotion, a memory, or an intuition. You are afraid that if we are rich, we will be robbed. Then you educate the child. Don't worry, we will be safe. The money will help protect us. Ask again until it gives you a yes. When all three selves vote yes, the universe steps aside. The importance of promises. A vital warning in dealing with the Kahunas. The Unihipili has the memory of an elephant. It forgets nothing. If you promise it, "If you help me get this job, I will take you to the beach to rest," and you get the job, but you do not take it to the beach, you are dead. You have betrayed its trust. The next time you ask for something, it will cross its arms and sabotage you. Many streaks of bad luck are simply the Unihipili going on strike because the Uheine, you, did not keep your promises of rest, pleasure, or play. Be impeccable with your word to yourself. If you say you are going to rest, rest. If you say you are going to eat healthy, eat healthy. If you prove that you are a reliable captain who takes care of his crew, the Unihipili will follow you to hell if you ask it. It will give you inexhaustible energy. It will give you intuition. It will warn you of bad people. The Aumakua, the potential future. Finally, let's talk about the Aumakua, the higher self. The Kahunas said that the Aumakua lives a little bit in the future. It is already in the reality where your desire is fulfilled. It is constantly reaching out its hand from the future to pull you toward that optimal timeline. But it needs your permission, and the permission is the mana you send it. It cannot violate your free will. If you and your child decide to stay in misery, it will wait patiently. The relationship with the Aumakua must be one of total trust. It is the ideal father-mother. It does not judge. It does not punish. The Aumakua is pure love and pure solution. When you send it the desire, let it go. "Father, here is my dream. Make it real in the best way possible. And relax. It will move the threads of coincidence, Kairos, to make it happen." Your task, the staff meeting. Starting today, stop living as a disconnected individual. Start living as a team. Every morning, upon waking, call a staff meeting in your bed. Greet the Unihipili. "Good morning, little one, I love you. Thank you for the rest. Today we are going to have a great day. What do you need? Feel your body. Greet the Aumakua. Father, thank you for guiding us. Keep us on the path of success today. Take command, Wu-Wei. Okay, team, today's plan is this. We are going to work on Project X, we are going to eat healthy, and we are going to be joyful. When you integrate your three selves, loneliness disappears, anxiety disappears. You feel an indestructible inner solidity. You are a legion of one. And when a united legion marches toward a goal, there is no wall that can resist. Chapter 3. The Law of Rhythm and Immunity to Chaos. You look at your life and see a pattern that terrifies you. You have a streak of good luck. Money flows, you feel in love, your health is excellent. You tell yourself, finally, I got it. I've arrived. And just when you relax and lower your guard, everything collapses. The business stagnates. You have an absurd fight with your partner. You get the flu, the car breaks down, you fall into a dark pit. You ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Why is God punishing me? Did I lose my power? You start fighting frantically to get back up, but the more you fight, the more you sink. It's like quicksand. Finally, after a time of suffering, things begin to improve on their own and the cycle repeats. Rise and fall, glory and disaster. You live on an emotional roller coaster that is destroying your nerves. Let me tell you something the permanent happiness gurus don't tell you. You did nothing wrong. You are not broken. You didn't lose your magic. Simply put, you have stumbled upon an immutable law of universal physics, as real as gravity, but you have tried to violate it, and the law has broken you. That law is rhythm. Everything in this universe breathes. Your lungs fill, expansion and empty, contraction. Your heart pumps, systole, and relaxes, diastole. The sea has high tide and low tide. The seasons have summer and winter. The economy has booms and busts. The tragedy of the modern human being is that they are addicted to expansion and have a phobia of contraction. They want it to be summer all year round. They want to inhale forever without ever exhaling. If you try to inhale without exhaling, you die. If you try to live in a permanent high tide, you exhaust yourself and collapse. Welcome to Chapter 3. Today, we are going to stop fighting the waves. Today, we are going to learn to surf. We are going to study the Kybalion and its forgotten principle. I am going to teach you how to become immune to chaos, not by preventing it from happening, because it will, but by learning to rise above it so that it does not touch you. The universal pendulum. The great hermetic principle of rhythm says, everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall, the pendulum swing manifests in everything, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, rhythm compensates. Analyze that last phrase. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. This is terrifying for the uninitiated, but liberating for the master. It means that the intensity of your joy determines the intensity of your potential pain. If you do not know how to handle the law, if you attach yourself euphorically to success, swing to the right, the pendulum will drag you with the same force toward depression when the success passes, swing to the left. Most people are puppets of the pendulum. If the day is sunny, they are happy. If it rains, they are miserable. If they make money, they feel like gods. If they lose money, they feel like worms. They are slaves to the environment. Their emotional state is a leaf in the wind. The advanced metaphysician refuses to be a leaf. The metaphysician aspires to be the rock, or better yet, the eye of the hurricane. In the center of the hurricane, even if there are winds of 300 km/h destroying houses around it, there is a point of absolute calm and silence. That is your goal. Stability in the midst of instability. The error of linear thinking. We have been educated with a geometric fallacy. Success is a straight line upward. We look at growth charts and expect a perfect diagonal. That does not exist in nature. Nature advances in spirals. You take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But that step back is not a regression. It is a gathering of momentum. It is like the arrow in the bow. To be shot forward, it first has to be pulled back. If you, at the moment life pulls you back, panic and cut the string, the arrow falls at your feet. You fail. But if you understand that the backward movement is part of the shot, you maintain the tension. You trust and you let yourself be launched. The downswing is not a system error. It is the recharge. Winter is not the death of the earth. It is the sleep of the earth. Beneath the snow, the seeds are accumulating the explosive strength for spring. If a farmer went out in winter to shout at the snowy field, to cry and try to dig up the seeds to see why they aren't growing, he would ruin the harvest. You are that hysterical farmer when your business enters a winter phase. You start changing strategies wildly. You despair, you vibrate in lack. And by doing that, you turn a natural winter, which was supposed to last 3 months, into a permanent ice age. The secret, the law of neutralization. So are we doomed to suffer every time the pendulum swings toward pain? No. This is where Hermetic magic comes in. The masters discovered that they cannot stop the pendulum, the law is universal, but they can escape its emotional effect. They developed the law of neutralization. Imagine that the pendulum swings on a lower plane, physical, emotional plane. Down there, the blow hits you full on. But you have the ability to raise your consciousness to a higher plane, mental, spiritual plane. It is as if you were in the sea. On the surface, the waves hit you and toss you around. But if you submerge yourself 5 meters underwater, depth of consciousness, the sea is still. The waves are still above, breaking with fury, but they do not touch you. You observe them from below. Ah, look, there's a storm up there, but you are at peace. But this is achieved through mental polarization. When you feel the pendulum starting to swing back, problems, sadness, lack begin. Instead of letting yourself be dragged by the emotion of fear, you polarize your mind. You refuse to participate in the drama. You become the observer. You say, interesting. We are in the contraction phase. It is time to rest, to review, to clean. It is not time to expand. You do not identify with the downswing. You say, my finances are going down, but I am not my finances. I am the abundant creator. By disidentifying, you unhook yourself from the pendulum. The technique of the cork. I will give you a mental image that will serve as a shield. Be a cork in the sea. When the sea pulls you under, the cork does not fight. It does not try to swim against the current. It does not waste energy. It simply trusts in its own buoyancy. It knows that by physical law it cannot sink forever. Eventually the sea will spit it back up again. When you enter a crisis, chaos. Do not fight. Stop trying to fix it with desperation. Desperation feeds chaos. Float, accept the situation. Okay, I'm in a crisis, it's fine, no big deal. Maintain the vibration. Even if your physical reality is a disaster, keep your mind on the vision of success. This attitude of divine indifference confuses chaos. Chaos feeds on your fear. If you don't give it fear, if you give it calm, chaos dissolves quickly because it has no food. The storm passes fast, and since you didn't waste energy fighting, when the calm arrives, the upswing, you are fresh and ready to ride the wave. Immunity to collective chaos. We live in times of hysteria. Economic crises, pandemics, wars, social collapses. They are gigantic pendulums swinging violently. The masses, 99% of people, are hooked to those pendulums. They move in unison. They are afraid together. They get angry together. They are energetically vampirized by the Egregore of the crisis. The advanced metaphysician practices energetic sovereignty. You see the news, you find out there is a crisis, but you do not give it your emotion. You say, that is their reality, not mine. In my universe I am prosperous, in my universe I am healthy. This may seem selfish or delusional, but it is pure protection. If you join the collective panic, you sink with the Titanic. If you keep your vibration high, you become a lifeboat. You don't just save yourself, your stability helps those around you. The best way to help a world in chaos is by being a lighthouse of order. The secret of compensation, paying in advance. The Kabbalion gives us another golden key, compensation. The measure of the swing to the left is the measure of the swing to the right. This means that if you are going through immense pain, a brutal loss, or a dark night of the soul, rejoice. Yes, rejoice, because mathematically you are accumulating a potential for joy and success of the same magnitude. The pendulum has been stretched to the maximum toward pain. When it is released, it will not stop in the middle. It will fly to the opposite extreme, toward glory. The deeper the well you dig in sadness, the more water of joy it can hold later. Many millionaires tell that just before their great success, they had their most resounding bankruptcy. Many healers had a mortal illness before healing. Chaos is the prelude to higher order. If you are at the bottom of the pit right now, understand this. You have already paid the price. You have paid in advance with your pain. Now it is your turn to collect. Do not give up, just when the pendulum is about to return. The only way to lose the collection is if you stay in the pit lamenting and believing that this is my new life. Rhythm in relationships and love. The law of rhythm also applies to love. Many couples suffer because they expect the relationship to be an eternal honeymoon, expansion phase. But love also breathes. There are moments of total fusion and moments of needing solitude, contraction. If your partner pulls away a little, seeks their space, is quiet, and you panic, they don't love me anymore, I have to do something, you start chasing them. By chasing them in their contraction phase, you violate their rhythm. You create repulsion. You destroy the relationship. The master knows how to read the rhythm. My partner is in a contraction phase, perfect. I will take the opportunity to focus on myself, on my projects. You don't chase, you stay in your center. And as the pendulum always returns, they will come back to you with renewed desire because you respected their space. The technique of mental transmutation. How is this applied in real time? Suppose you feel sadness or discouragement invading you. The pendulum swings to the negative. Do not fight the sadness. Do not say, I shouldn't be sad. That is resistance. Use transmutation. Sadness and joy are not two different things. They are the same thing, emotional energy, in different degrees of vibration. Just as cold and heat are temperature in different degrees. You cannot turn cold into electricity, but you can turn cold into heat simply by changing the vibration. Recognize the emotion. I am sad. Move your attention, your assembly point, to the opposite pole. Start vibrating artificially in gratitude or in action. Do something physical that corresponds to joy. Smile, even if it's fake at first. Put on energetic music, walk fast. You are hacking the pendulum. You are forcing the vibration to go up a notch. With practice, you can move from a depressive state to a creative state in a matter of minutes. Masters are not people who never get sad. They are people who do not stay sad. The power of the metaphysical winter. I want you to reconcile with your times of no results. You are working, visualizing, and nothing visible is happening. You are in winter. Winter is sacred. In the silence of winter, your roots are getting stronger. Your character is being forged. If you got everything you wanted instantly, you would be a spoiled and weak child. The universe uses the waiting time to toughen you up, so that when the success arrives, which is heavy, you have the backbone to hold it. Enjoy the winter. Read, study, meditate, sharpen the axe. The ritual of stability. To close this chapter, I will give you an exercise for immunity. Visualize that you are an immense mountain. At your feet, there is a noisy town, your thoughts, your daily problems. There are storms, there are people screaming, there are fires. But you are the peak of the mountain. You are above the clouds. Up there, the sun always shines. The silence is eternal. What happens below does not affect the peak. When you feel chaos invading you, close your eyes and say, I am the mountain. Rise your consciousness to the peak. Look at your problems from above. They look small, don't they? From the peak, the labyrinth of chaos looks like a simple map. You see the exit. From below, you only see walls. The secret is not to fix the labyrinth. The secret is to rise above it. The law of rhythm will keep operating. It will rise and fall. But you will no longer be the seasick passenger on the boat. You will be the ocean itself, deep, vast, and at peace, that holds the boat. Chapter 4. The Doubling of Time. Garnier Malet's Theory. Look at me, or rather look at your hand. It seems solid, doesn't it? It seems to be there, still and continuous in time. But if we could see your hand through a quantum microscope and slow down time, you would be terrified. Your hand is not continuous. Your hand is flickering. It appears and disappears billions of times per second. It exists and it ceases to exist. It exists and it ceases to exist. It is like an old light bulb that flickers so fast that the human eye sees it as on all the time. But physics knows there are moments of darkness between each flash of light. The question that changed the life of physicist Jean-Pierre Garnier Malet, and that is going to change yours today, is what happens in those micro instants of darkness? Where are you when your physical body disappears from this reality in that flicker? Do you cease to exist? No, energy is not destroyed. Energy is, in those intervals of time imperceptible to you, you travel at another speed. You double yourself. While your physical body, present self, moves as slow as a tortoise in this linear time, a part of your energy, your quantum double, shoots out at superluminal speeds toward the future. Welcome to Chapter 4, The Doubling of Time. Today you are going to discover that you are not alone. You never have been. You have an energetic twin, a quantum explorer who lives in an accelerated time, who tests the future for you and returns every night while you sleep to tell you which path to take. Most people ignore their double and walk blindly toward the precipice. You are going to learn to speak with him. You are going to learn to remember the future before it happens. The principle of the vital and stroboscopy. To understand this, you don't need religious faith. You need to understand how cinema works. When you go to the movies, you see actors moving smoothly on the screen. But you know that is an illusion. What is actually there is a film with 24 static photos per second. Between one photo and another, there is a black space. The projector throws photo black, photo black. Your brain is slow. Your brain joins the photos and erases the blacks. It creates an illusion of continuity. But if you were a creature capable of seeing in the black spaces, you would see another movie. The universe works the same way. It is stroboscopic. We live in slow time, the photos. But in the temporal openings, the black spaces, time dilates. A microsecond in our time can be hours or days in the time of the double. This means your double has plenty of time to go to the future and see consequences. The jungle explorer. Let's use a metaphor so you understand it viscerally. Imagine you are walking through a dense and dangerous jungle, life. You are walking very slowly because the terrain is difficult. But you have a companion, the explorer, your double. He is invisible and can run at lightning speed. While you take a single step, the explorer runs 10 kilometers ahead along the right path. He sees there is a hungry tiger waiting. He runs back to you in what was for you a second and whispers, "Not the right path. There is death." Then he runs 10 kilometers along the left path. He sees there is a river of fresh water and gold. He returns and whispers, "Go left, there is life." You, in your slow time, saw neither the tiger nor the gold. But if you listen to the explorer, you take the left. Suddenly, you find the gold. And you say, "What a great intuition I had. How lucky." How? It was not luck. It was anticipated information. It was memory of the future. Your double already lived that potential future, validated it, and brought you the data. The tragedy is that most people have the connection cut with their explorer. They are deaf due to mental noise and stress. The function of paradoxical sleep, REM. When does the exchange of information occur? When does the explorer sit with you to give you the map? It happens every night. It is biological. It is called paradoxical sleep, or the REM phase, rapid eye movement. Scientists know that REM sleep is vital. If you prevent a rat from having REM sleep, it dies in a few weeks, even if you let it sleep in light phases. For science, REM is for processing memory. For the physics of doubling, REM is the moment of the data exchange. During the day, you are the one in charge. You generate thoughts. I am afraid of losing my job. I want to buy that house. Each thought is a GPS coordinate you give to your double. When you think, I am afraid of getting sick, you are forcing your double to go to the future and explore the timeline where you get sick. He has to do it because you are the captain. He goes, experiences the illness and returns loaded with that dirty information. When you fall asleep, the encounter occurs. You, physical body, turn off. Your double, energetic body couples. The water in your body serves as a conductor for the information. If you spent the day anxious, your double downloads that. You wake up tired, with a bad feeling and a sense of doom. You have updated your software with a virus. And worst of all, since the double already lived that bad future by your mandate, that future now has a high probability of materializing in your physical reality in the next 40 days. The danger of falling asleep poorly. Here we reach the critical point. The most important moment of your life is the 5 minutes before you fall asleep. That twilight state, Hypnagogia, where you are no longer awake but not yet asleep, is the waiting room where you meet your double. The majority of humanity uses those 5 minutes to review their problems. They go to bed thinking, tomorrow I have to pay that bill and I don't have money. My boss is going to yell at me. They are using the magic hour to give catastrophe instructions to the explorer. They are asking for a bad tomorrow. And the double, who is a faithful but mechanical servant, obeys. You wake up and everything goes wrong. And you say, see, I knew it would go wrong. Of course you knew. You ordered it last night. Garnier Malet is blunt. Falling asleep worried is metaphysical suicide. It is dirtying the future. The benevolent night protocol. So how do we fix this? How do we use doubling to our advantage to heal, enrich ourselves, and find impossible solutions? There is a precise protocol. It is not a religious prayer. It is a technical instruction. Step 1. Hydration. Water is liquid memory and the conductor of quantum information. Before going to bed, drink a glass of water. Do it with the intention of improving communication with your double. Step 2. The deletion, pest control. Already in bed, you must clean the erroneous coordinates you sent during the day. We know we are human. Surely during the day you were afraid or you got angry. Those are negative potentials. You have to delete them before they solidify. Say to your double, erase all the negative potentials I have created today with my thoughts, conscious or unconscious. I do not want them to manifest. This is like emptying the computer's recycle bin before turning it off. Step 3. The benevolent request. Now you give the new instruction. Ask for what you need. The solution to a legal problem, the cure for a pain, the idea for a business. But here is the golden key. Your request must be benevolent. What does this mean? It means what you ask for must not harm anyone else. The double lives in a frequency of unity. The correct formula is, give me the best solution for this problem, one that is good for me and for everyone involved. By adding, and for everyone involved, you shield your request. You ensure the solution is clean, perfect, and without side effects. Step 4. The surrender. You let go of the wheel. Once the request is made, you have to fall asleep with a blank mind or with a sense of total trust. Imagine you have given heavy suitcases to a very strong porter. There you go. You know how to solve it better than I do. Surprise me. And you fall asleep in peace. That peace is the sign that you have delivered the package. If you keep ruminating on the problem, you haven't delivered anything. You are still clutching the suitcase. The double cannot act if you do not let go. The survival instinct. The voice of the double. What happens the next day? Do you wake up and find a bag of money under your pillow? Generally, no. What happens is that your double has modified the immediate future and sends you instructions through intuition. Suddenly you feel like going down a street you never take, and there you find the person you needed. Suddenly you lose the urge to call that client, and later you find out that client scammed half the world. Suddenly, an idea comes out of nowhere. That subtle voice, that hunch, is your double speaking to you. It is the explorer who returned from the future. The great challenge of modern man is that we have killed intuition with logic. Your double says, turn left. Your logic says, don't be silly. The GPS says right, everyone goes right, and you go right, and you fail. Logic works with data from the past. Intuition works with data from the future. Updating the past and the future. The theory of doubling goes even further. Garnier Malet says the double doesn't just fix the future, he can also heal the past, because time is circular and malleable in the temporal openings. If you have a trauma from the past that haunts you, you can ask your double at night, go to that moment of my childhood. Give the me of that moment the strength and comfort they needed and did not have. The double, traveling through time, can inject vital information into your past. It won't change the physical fact, but it will change the energetic charge and the consequences in your present. Living in the double state, The final goal is not just to ask for things at night. It is to live connected 24 hours a day. It is to reach a state of hyper-intuition. When you clean your nightly connection for 40 consecutive days, the quarantine, your pipe with the double becomes flawless. You no longer need to wait to dream. You begin to receive faxes from the future in real time. You are in a business meeting, and you know what the other person is going to say before they open their mouth. You become a synchronized being. Luck becomes your natural state. The danger of parasitism. There is a serious warning in this theory. If you do not use your double, others will use it. We live in an ocean of thoughts. If your mind is empty, passive, and full of fear, you will catch the garbage potential futures of the collective mass. Your double, receiving no clear and benevolent instructions from you, will set to work updating those parasitic potentials. You will start manifesting problems that aren't even yours. Taking control of your night is an act of sovereignty. It is saying, I decide which futures enter my reality. Summary of the Garnier Protocol. Tonight, start the most important experiment of your life. It costs no money, it takes no time. Drink water. Sit in bed, review your day, delete the negatives. Talk to your double. Here I am, I hand you the command. Find the best solution for me and for everyone, I trust you. Turn off the mind. Fall asleep thinking of the solution, the feeling of relief. In the morning, pay attention. Observe signs, obey the first impulse. You are a time traveler. You have been doing it unconsciously and chaotically for eons. The time has come to do it consciously and masterfully. Let your double run ahead of you and clear the path of stones. Life does not have to be a blind struggle. It can be a walk guided by your best friend, your future self. But what happens when our present self is loaded with biological programs that even the double cannot easily erase? What happens when the block comes from 3 generations ago? Your biology is a history book, and sometimes you are repeating chapters you didn't write. Chapter 5. Ancestral Biodecodification, the Invisible Loyalty. You look at your bank account and see an absurd pattern. You earn money, but as soon as you exceed a certain amount, an emergency arises and you lose everything. You go back to zero. It is mathematical. You look at your love life. You always choose people who abandon you, or who are alcoholics, or who ignore you. You say this time will be different, but within 3 months the script repeats with another actor. You look at your health. You have the same disease as your mother, who in turn had it just like your grandmother. You blame yourself. You say, I'm stupid. I have no will. I have bad luck. You make positive affirmations in front of the mirror. You go on diets, you take finance courses. But the pattern is made of steel. It does not break. I have news that may be terrifying at first, but it will be the key to your freedom. You are not living your life. You are living the sequel to a movie that started 100 years ago. You are paying debts you did not sign for. You are crying tears that are not yours. Welcome to Chapter 5, Ancestral Biodecodification. Today we are going to discover that your biology is not a blank sheet. It is a history book. Your cells have memory. Your DNA does not only carry the color of your eyes. It carries the traumas, the secrets, the crimes, and the unresolved pains of your clan. For advanced metaphysics, time does not exist. Therefore, the grandfather who died in the war is not back in time. He is living right now through you. You are his vehicle. You are his opportunity to repair what he left broken. But if you are not aware of this, you will be his puppet, the clan as a living organism. To understand this, you must stop seeing yourself as an isolated individual. In nature, the individual does not matter. The species matters. The herd matters. Your clan, your family tree, is a single gigantic organism that extends through time. You are just a recent cell of that organism. The goal of the clan is only one, to survive. And to survive, the clan has a golden rule. What kept us alive is repeated. What killed us is avoided. This is where the conflict is born between you, who wants to be happy, and your clan, which wants you to survive. Often for the clan, being happy is dangerous. Being rich is dangerous. Loving is dangerous, and your biological unconscious, which is faithful to the clan above all, will sabotage your happiness to save your life. The money code. Loyalty to poverty. Let's talk about money, the subject where this loyalty is most visible. You, consciously, want to be a millionaire. But what happened in your family tree with money? Perhaps your great-grandfather was rich, owned land and cattle. But in a revolution or a war, soldiers came, killed him for being rich and violated his daughters. The brain of the clan recorded a survival program in fire and blood, having money, kaun, death and pain. That program was transmitted to your grandfather, your father and to you. It is not in your logical mind. It is in your amygdala, in your nervous system. Now you try to start a business, you start making money. As soon as your balance goes up, the ancestral alarm is activated. Danger, he is becoming rich, they are going to kill him. Your biological unconscious panics, it needs to save you. How does it save you? How? By making you lose the money. It makes you sign a stupid contract, your car breaks down, you get robbed. When you are poor again, your unconscious sighs in relief. Ugh, I saved him. Now he is safe. You cry over your poverty, but your biology celebrates your survival. Or perhaps you come from a clan of immigrants who went hungry. The program is, there is not enough. If you have abundance, you feel an unconscious guilt. Who am I to eat caviar while my grandfather ate potato peels? That guilt is unbearable for the soul. To avoid that guilt, which feels like a betrayal of the clan's love, you boycott yourself. You stay at the same economic level as your family to continue belonging. Because for the human mammal, being excluded from the herd is death. We prefer to be poor and belong than to be rich and be alone. The love code, daddy's girlfriend. Let's look at relationships. Why do you always attract men who cheat on you? Look into the tree. Perhaps your grandmother was married to a man who had 2 families. She had to swallow that humiliation so her children could eat. She could never express her rage. She died with that pain. The clan passes the hot potato to you. Here, granddaughter, resolve this which your grandmother could not. How do you resolve it? By repeating the story. Your unconscious seeks an unfaithful man, even if he consciously seems like a saint, so that you relive the grandmother's scene. The clan's hope is that you will do something different, that you will leave him, that you will set boundaries, that you will release the rage. But if you don't know this, you simply repeat the grandmother's role of victim. You are an actor who doesn't know they are in a play, reciting lines that someone else wrote. This is what Freud called the repetition compulsion. It is not masochism. It is a failed attempt at healing. We repeat the exam until we pass it. The problem is that nobody told us it was an exam. Whose double are you? In biodecodification, we say you are a double of an ancestor when you carry their program. How do you know whose double you are? The information is in the data. The universe is mathematical. The name. If you have the same name as your grandfather, you are his energetic clone. You carry his destiny on your shoulders. Naming a child after a dead or tragic ancestor is an unconscious condemnation. The dates. This is the most precise tool. Look at your birth date. Look in your tree for who was born or died on that same date, with a margin of +10 days. If you were born on August 15th and your grandfather died on August 20th, you are his double by date of death. Physical resemblance. He looks just like Uncle George. That is not a coincidence, it is a property mark. If you are someone's double, your unconscious mission is to repair their life. If Uncle George was an alcoholic and lost everything, you will feel a compulsion to save people, or you will have an irrational fear of alcohol, or you will repeat his alcoholism. You are not free, you are possessed by an invisible loyalty. The yaciente, carrying the dead. There is a special and very dense case called the yaciente syndrome or ghost. It occurs when a child is born shortly after a sibling, a young uncle or a beloved grandfather has died, and the family did not grieve correctly. The mother is pregnant, but she is mourning the dead. She transfers to the fetus the idea, you are here to replace the one who left. The child is born but does not have permission to live their own life. They have to be the dead person. Symptoms of being a yaciente. Chronic sadness without reason. It is not yours, it is the ungrieved loss. A taste for dressing in black dark rooms. Sleeping in a mummy posture, rigid, arms crossed. Speaking very softly. The dead don't make noise. A feeling of not being totally here, of being invisible. Cold or paralyzing diseases. Parkinson's, sclerosis. If you discover you are a yaciente, the realization is brutal and liberating. My God, this sadness is not mine. I have been carrying Uncle Luis my whole life. Just by seeing it, the ghost begins to leave. The dead need to be recognized to rest, and the living need permission to live. Science confirms it. Epigenetics. This sounded like black magic until science arrived. Experiment with mice. They take a male mouse, they let him smell cherry blossoms. At the same time, they give him a painful electric shock. The mouse learns, cherry smell, pain. He fears the cherry blossom. That mouse has children who have never smelled cherry or received shocks. When the children smell cherry, they shiver with fear. They have grandchildren. The grandchildren also fear the cherry blossom. The trauma changed the chemical markers in the DNA of the sperm. The memory of the pain was inherited to alert the offspring. Watch out for the cherry. You are that mouse. Only instead of cherry, your cherry is money, trust, authority, or sex. You react with panic to stimuli that have done nothing to you, but which destroyed your ancestors. Epigenetics tells us trauma travels in the blood. But the good news is healing also travels in the blood. The black sheep, the hero of the tree. Surely hearing this you feel identified. You are probably the black sheep of the family, the weird one, the one who searches, who reads metaphysics books, who doesn't fit in, who questions the religion or the customs of the clan. I have to tell you something, thank you. The black sheep is not the family's problem, it is the family's solution. The family tree, when it is too intoxicated with secrets and repetitions, generates a black sheep to purge itself. You were born with the mission to break the chains. You are the seeker. Your siblings and cousins continue repeating the script blindly. You have awakened and said, "This makes no sense. This ends here." The clan will criticize you. It will attack you. It will try to make you return through guilt. It is the tree's immune system trying to eliminate the divergent element. But you must resist. Your healing is the healing of all of them, even if they don't know it. By healing yourself, you heal 7 generations backward, giving peace to the dead, and 7 generations forward, freeing your children. You are the Neo of your family matrix. The release protocol. How do you break the contract? It is not enough to know it intellectually. The unconscious is biological and symbolic. It needs a ritual act. You need to return the package. Step 1. Awareness. Investigate your tree, ask questions, seek secrets, find the pattern. I repeat my grandfather's bankruptcy. Step 2. The letter of grieving and release. Write a handwritten letter to that ancestor. Dear Grandfather John, I see your story. I see your pain. Today I realize I have been repeating your story out of loyalty. But today I decide to return your destiny to you. Your destiny is yours. I return it with respect. You are you, and I am I. In your honor, I will be very rich and very happy. That will be my offering to you. Step 3. The Psycho-Magic Act. Go to a quiet place. Read the letter aloud. Cry if you need to. Burn the letter. As it burns, feel the contract break. Feel the weight leave your back. Bury the ashes or throw them to the wind. Step 4. The quarantine. During the next 40 days, your unconscious will try to return to the old pattern by inertia. Be alert. Every time you feel the old guilt, say, "That is no longer mine. That was burned. I am free." The new contract. Loyalty to life. Breaking family loyalty feels like dying. It feels like being left alone in the universe, without a herd. It is the price of freedom. But when you cross that desert, you find a new family. You find the family of free souls. And most importantly, you start using your own energy to create your own future, instead of using it to keep the past alive. Metaphysics that works requires clean ground. You cannot build a skyscraper on an Indian burial ground. First, you have to honor the dead and return their burdens. Then and only then can you call the architect. Chapter 6. Kairos versus Chronos, Fractal Time. Look at your wrist, or look at the corner of your phone screen. There it is, the silent tyrant. 12 Acre, 12 1, 12 intro 2. Those rhythmically changing numbers dictate your life. They tell you when to eat, when to sleep, when to work, and when to die. You live with the perpetual feeling that there isn't enough. You run all day, you do 1,000 things, but when night comes, you feel like you haven't moved forward at all. You feel life slipping away like sand through your fingers. You've been taught that time is money. You've been taught to manage time, but it's a lie. You cannot manage time. Time keeps moving forward no matter what you do. The only thing you can manage is your energy within time. Modern man lives enslaved in a linear and murderous temporal dimension, but the ancient Greeks, who knew much more about the human psyche and magic than we do, knew that there are 2 times, not 1, 2. We live trapped in the first, completely ignoring the second, which is where miracles, sudden wealth, and quantum healing occur. Welcome to Chapter 6, Kairos versus Chronos. Today, you are going to learn how to stop the clock. Today, you are going to learn that time is not a straight line, but a fractal spiral. You are going to discover how to exit the highway of stress, to enter vertical time, the place where 1 minute of lucidity is worth more than 10 years of brute effort. The 2 gods of time. To understand your prison, you must know your jailer. The Greeks called linear time Chronos. Chronos is the old god, the Roman Saturn. He is represented as an old man with a scythe and an hourglass. Mythology tells us that Chronos devoured his own children. This is the most brutal and exact metaphor for your current life. Linear time, Chronos, devours its children, your days, your dreams, your youth. Chronos is clock time. It is quantitative. It is sequential. It is the time that says, you have to work 8 hours to earn X money. It is the time of aging and death. It is entropy. In the domain of Chronos, it is always late. There is always a rush. But there existed another god, a young, winged, and elusive god. His name was Kairos. Kairos is the opportune moment, the time of God. It is not measured in minutes. It is measured in depth. Kairos is qualitative. Do you remember that moment you had your first kiss? Or when you had that brilliant idea that changed your business? Or when you saw a landscape so beautiful it took your breath away? Physically, it lasted perhaps a few seconds. But in your soul, it lasted an eternity. Time stood still. That is Kairos. Kairos is a hole in the matrix of Chronos. It is a vertical window that opens in the middle of the horizontal line. Kairos was represented with a long lock of hair on his forehead but bald in the back. The message? You have to grab opportunity, Kairos, by the front when it comes toward you. Once it has passed, once you see its bald back, you can no longer grab it, it is gone. Horizontal time versus vertical time. Most people live their lives horizontally. They are born at point A and walk toward death at point B. They believe that to get more money, more success, they need more horizontal time. If I had more hours in the day, I would be rich. False. We all have the same 24 hours of Chronos. Elon Musk and the beggar on the corner have the same horizontal time. The difference is that the magician, the creator, knows how to access vertical time. Vertical time is an immersion. It is when you enter the state of flow. You are writing or painting or programming or making love, and suddenly you disappear. You aren't hungry. You aren't sleepy. There is no I. There is only pure action. You look at the clock and 5 hours have passed, but for you it was 10 minutes. Or vice versa, 10 minutes passed, but you produced as much as in 5 hours. In that state, you have stepped out of Chronos. You have entered eternity. In vertical time, there is no resistance. You are connected to the central server of the universe. You download information at impossible speeds. Metaphysics that works does not seek to add more years to your life, but more life to your years. A single instant of Kairos, an idea, a synchronic encounter, a decision, can save you 20 years of struggle in Chronos. Hard work is the trap of Chronos. Inspiration and opportunity are the gifts of Kairos. The fractal nature of time. Now let's get a bit more technical. Modern science has discovered that time and nature are fractals. What is a fractal? It is a pattern that repeats at different scales. Look at a Romanesco broccoli. A small piece has the same shape as the large piece, and the large piece has the same shape as the whole broccoli. Time works the same way. It is cyclical. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes. This means your life is not a straight line, it is a spiral. You pass through the same points, same problems, same lessons, but at different levels. If you didn't learn the lesson the first time, the fractal cycle will bring the same situation again, with another face, on another date, but with the same mathematical energy. This is what we call karma, or repetition. But if you learn the lesson, you break the cycle at that level and move up to the next. Understanding fractal time gives you enormous predictive power. If you know you are in a fractal winter, you know you should not sow. If you know you are in a fractal spring, you know it is the time for massive action. Success is about doing the right thing at the right fractal moment. Doing the right thing at the wrong time is failure. Doing the wrong thing at the right time sometimes works better, but doing the right thing at the right moment, Kairos, is exponential success. How to hunt the Kairos, the window of opportunity. How do you know when you are facing a Kairos moment? Kairos doesn't announce itself with a clock. It announces itself with the body. It is a visceral sensation. Suddenly you are in a conversation and you feel electricity. You feel that something important is happening here. Or you see an ad or hear a phrase and you feel an internal click. That is the lock of hair of Kairos approaching. In that moment, you have to act. Kairos time is volatile. The window opens and closes fast. If you hesitate, "I'll think about it, I'll look at it tomorrow," the window closes. And because time is fractal, that opportunity will return, but perhaps in 7 years. Can you afford to wait that long? Successful people have developed a nose for Kairos. They have metaphysical agility. When the universe opens a breach, they jump through it without asking permission. They know that breach is a shortcut in space-time. Hurry, the prayer of fear. Let's analyze your emotional relationship with time. You probably live with hurry. Fast, fast, I'm not going to make it. Metaphysically, hurry is a declaration of poverty. Hurry tells the universe, I am not in control. Time is more powerful than I am afraid of the future. When you are in a hurry, you contract your energy field. You become clumsy, you make mistakes. And curiously, things take longer. The paradox is, to go fast, you have to go slow. Observe the great masters of martial arts. They are never in a hurry. They move with a deliberate and fluid slowness. But when they strike, they are invisible, they are so fast, because there is no tension. To enter Kairos, you have to eliminate internal hurry. You have to walk down the street as if you were the owner of time, not its slave. This is called temporal sovereignty. Tell yourself, I have all the time I need because I create time. By relaxing, your perception expands, and by expanding, you can see the doors of Kairos. The man in a hurry runs so fast, he passes right in front of the golden doors and doesn't even see them. Technique 1. The fertile void, killing Chronos. How do you invoke Kairos? Kairos hates full space. If your schedule is full of minute-by-minute activities, Kairos cannot enter. If your mind is full of noise, inspiration cannot land. You need to create fertile voids. You have to schedule nothing time. Yes, schedule it. Block out 2 hours in your week or 20 minutes in your day to do nothing. No phone, no books, no guided meditation, no goals. Sit. Look out the window. Wander aimlessly. At first, Chronos will attack you. You're wasting time, you're lazy. Endure the anxiety. It is adrenaline withdrawal syndrome. If you resist that initial boredom, suddenly the mind calms down. And in that silence, boom, the idea drops. The solution to the problem you've been dragging for months falls into place. Kairos arrives. The idea of strategic idling is the secret of geniuses. Einstein, Newton, Jobs, they were all famous for spending hours staring into the void. They weren't wasting time. They were fishing in vertical time. Parkinson's law and temporal compression. There is a law in project management called Parkinson's law. Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. If you give yourself a month to write a report, it will take a month. If you give yourself 3 days, it will take 3 days. And the result will probably be better, because you will have more focus, Kairos, and less dispersion. You can use this metaphysically. Intentionally collapse Chronos time to force an entry into Kairos. Give yourself aggressive and impossible deadlines. That forces your brain to abandon linear thinking. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3. Because there is no time for that. You force it to seek the quantum leap. You force it to seek the shortcut, the creative solution, the unexpected help. Pressure, well channeled, breaks the shell of Chronos and releases Kairos. Synchronicity, the magician's clock. When you start living in Kairos, you begin to experience synchronicity. Synchronicity is when two events, which have no causal relationship, cause-effect, occur together and have a deep meaning for you. You think of a friend and they call you. You need a book and you find it lying on a bench. This is pure Carl Jung. Synchronicity is the confirmation that you have stepped off the straight line and entered the interconnected web. In the web, everything is connected to everything. There is no distance or time. The more synchronicities you have, the more aligned you are. If your life is mechanical and predictable, you are in Chronos. If your life looks like a magical script written by a funny writer, you are in Kairos. Exercise, play with the universe. Say in the morning, "Today I want to see blue butterflies," or whatever you want. Don't look for them. Just release the intent into fractal time. Observe how reality reorganizes itself. The eternal present, the only door. Metaphysics tells us that past and future do not exist. The past is memory, a chemical trace in your brain. The future is imagination, an electrical projection in your brain. The only thing that exists is the eternal now. Chronos makes you live in the past, depression, or in the future, anxiety. Kairos only lives in the now. You cannot enter Kairos thinking about tomorrow. The entry door is always this second. When you are doing something, washing dishes, writing an email, do only that. Merge with the action. Feel the water on your hands, feel the keys. If you manage to be 100% present, time disappears. And where there is no time, there is no suffering. Suffering needs time to exist. It needs a story of poor me in time. In absolute presence, there is only being. Say goodbye to the clock. I'm not telling you to throw away your watch and be late for your appointments. We live in society and need to respect the agreements of Chronos, but I am telling you to stop carrying the clock in your soul. Use Chronos as a tool, but not as a master. Your master is your purpose. Your master is your intuition. Learn to wait. Active waiting is not wasting time. It is loading the arrow, and learn to jump. When Kairos passes, grab it by the hair. Do not be afraid that you aren't ready. You are never ready for Kairos because Kairos is always new. You are willing, which is different. Your life is not measured in years. It is measured in moments of impact. You can live 100 years in Chronos and not have lived a single real day. Or you can live 30 years full of Kairos and have lived 1,000 lives. Choose intensity, choose depth. Time is yours, don't let the clock eat it. Chapter 7, Hypnagogia, the Twilight State. Imagine you want to enter a maximum security fortress. Inside that fortress, in the vault, is the master control panel of your reality. If you manage to get in there, you can press any button. Wealth, health, genius, love, and the machinery of your life will obey instantly. But there is a problem. At the gate of the fortress, there is a guard. A giant, armed, skeptical, and very grumpy guard. That guard is called the intellect, or the critical factor. His job is to protect you. His job is to make sure that nothing new or strange enters the system. If you approach the guard in broad daylight and say, "Hello, I'm here to inform you that I am now a millionaire," the guard will look at you. He will look at your current bank account, burst out laughing, and kick you in the backside. Don't talk nonsense. You're poor. Get out of here. This is what happens when you do positive affirmations while fully awake in a beta state. You fight against the guard, and the guard always wins because he has the evidence of the past on his side. But the guard is human, and the guard has to sleep. There are 2 moments in the day, 2 brief windows of time, in which the guard is so tired, so drunk with sleep, that he leaves the door open and falls into a doze in his chair. If you are stealthy, if you know how to walk on tiptoe, you can slip through that open door. You can pass right under his nose, enter the control chamber, and rewrite the code without him ever knowing. When the guard wakes up, he will see the change in reality and won't know how it happened. He will say, "Well, I guess this is reality now." Welcome to Chapter 7, Hypnagogia. we are going to explore the crack in the matrix, that hazy, hallucinatory and powerful territory that exists on the border between being awake and being asleep. Scientists call it the N1 state or Theta phase. Mystics call it the twilight state. Thomas Edison and Salvador Dali called it the secret of my genius. Today you are going to learn how to use it to implant commands that the universe cannot reject, the physics of brainwaves. To understand why this state is the master key, you need to understand your brain's frequencies. Your brain is a radio that broadcasts on different bands. Beta, 14 to 30 Hertz. This is your normal waking state. You are alert, logical, stressed, and analytical. This is where the guard lives. Here is where you say, I can't, it's hard, I have to pay bills. In beta, it is almost impossible to reprogram the subconscious because the logical filter is too dense. Alpha, 8 and 14 Hertz. This is a state of light relaxation. Like when you watch television, drive on autopilot, or meditate gently. The guard is distracted, but he is still there. Theta, 4 to 8 Hertz. This is where the magic is. This is the state of hypnagogia. It is deep sleep with vivid dreams, REM, or the deep meditation of monks. In Theta, the guard, ego, logic, is deactivated, but consciousness is still on. It is the state of hyperplasticity. Children under 7 live in Theta. That's why they learn languages effortlessly and believe they are Superman. In Theta, what you say becomes biological law. Delta, 0.5 to 4 Hertz. Deep dreamless sleep. Total unconsciousness. Our goal is the conscious Theta state. Most people pass through the Theta state every night, but they do so unconsciously. They plummet from beta to delta and miss the treasure. They fall asleep all at once. The magician learns to surf the border. He learns to balance on the tightrope of Theta without falling into the unconsciousness of delta. The trick of Edison and Dali. I am not the one who invented this. The greatest geniuses in modern history depended on this state to download ideas that did not exist in the world. Thomas Edison, the man of 1,000 patents, had a strange ritual. When he got stuck on an impossible problem, he didn't keep forcing his logical brain, beta. He knew that logic only recycles what it already knows. He needed something new. He would sit in his favorite armchair with a heavy steel ball in each hand. He would place 2 metal plates on the floor, right under his hands. He would close his eyes and begin to relax. He would begin to enter hypnagogia. Just at the moment his mind crossed the border into deep sleep, his muscles would relax, muscle atonia. His hands would open. The steel balls would fall onto the metal plates. Clang! The noise would wake him up instantly. Edison had a notebook ready. In that precise moment of shock, he would write down what he was seeing in his mind. He captured ideas from the other side before the logical guard could take control again. He said that in this state, he connected with the ocean of ideas. Salvador Dali, the surrealist painter, did the same but with a heavy key and a plate. He called this method sleeping with a key. His paintings, those melting clocks and elephants with spider legs, were not imaginations. They were literal visions he saw in the hypnagogic state. He painted photographs of the Theta dimension. They used hypnagogia to pull information out, creativity. You are going to use it to put information in, programming. You are going to use the crack in the wall to sneak in a Trojan horse. What does hypnagogia feel like? How do you know you are there? You have surely felt it 1,000 times without knowing it. You are in bed. The body begins to feel heavy. You feel a kind of pleasant paralysis. You don't want to move. External sounds, traffic, wind, sound distant, as if they were in another room. And then the visual show begins. You see lights. You see geometric shapes that rotate. You see faces of people you don't know. You hear fragments of conversations, music, random words. Psychologists call these hypnagogic hallucinations. For the metaphysician, these are not hallucinations. This is the raw material of reality in a liquid state. You are seeing the backstage of the theater. You are seeing thoughts condensing into images before solidifying into matter. In this state, your mind has lost the notion of space and time. If you think about your hand, you can feel that your hand is giant, the size of a house or tiny like an ant. If you think you are floating, you literally feel like you are floating. Sensory reality disconnects, and here is where you have absolute power. Because if you manage to introduce an imaginary scene at this moment, your brain cannot distinguish it from physical reality. Since there is no sensory input from the eyes or ears, the outside world is turned off. The only reality that exists is the one you put on the mental screen. To your nervous system, what you imagine in Theta is actually happening. The Trojan horse, the impregnation technique. What do we do when we manage to catch this state? Most people make the mistake of falling asleep or starting to think about tomorrow's problems, what we saw in Chapter 4 about the double. You are going to use the short loop technique. The hypnagogic state is unstable. You cannot sustain a long and complex 20-minute movie. You will fall asleep or get distracted. You need a short clip. A mental GIF. Design a short scene, 5-10 seconds. A scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. If you want money, a scene where you shake someone's hand and they say, "Congratulations on your new contract," or where you see the balance on your phone. If you want health, a scene where you are running or where the doctor says it's a miracle you're cured. Condense the scene into a feeling. What is the predominant emotion? Relief, ecstasy, gratitude? Enter Hypnagogia. Lie down, relax. Use a countdown technique from 100 to 0, or simply observe the darkness behind your eyelids until you start to see lights and feel the heaviness. Execute the loop. When you feel that you are drifting off, insert the scene. Repeat it over and over like a catchy song. Don't watch it as a spectator on a screen. Get inside it. Feel the hand. Smell the perfume. Hear the voice. Make it real. Fall asleep in the scene. The goal is for the scene to be the last conscious thought before the click of unconsciousness happens. If you manage to have the scene dissolve into deep sleep, you have won. The Trojan horse has entered the city. During the next 6 or 8 hours of sleep, your subconscious will cook that seed. It will marinate in it. And since the guard was asleep, there was no resistance. The subconscious accepts the order. The problem of insomnia and anxiety. Many beginners fail because they get anxious. Am I in Theta? Am I there yet? Oh no, I'm waking up. By getting anxious, they rise to beta, alert. The guard wakes up and says, "What's going on here?" The magic is over. The key is indolence. You have to do it with laziness, with reluctance, without effort. It's a gentle game. If you wake up too much, simply relax again. Tell your body, deeper. If you fall asleep before doing the scene, don't punish yourself. Tomorrow you try again. It is a mental motor skill like learning to ride a bike. Tip: if you find it hard to keep the mind focused, use a short phrase, a mantra instead of a visual image. Thank you, it is done. I am free. Repeat the word like a lullaby, rocking yourself with it until the word loses its meaning and becomes pure vibration that drags you into sleep. Quantum healing in the twilight. This state is especially powerful for physical healing. The placebo effect, which is the mind's ability to heal the body, is multiplied by 100 in Theta. In beta, if something hurts, your logical mind says, "I have an injury. This takes 3 months to heal." And the body obeys the 3-month term. In Theta, there is no time. You can enter the injured zone with your mind. Visualize a golden light sewing the tissue, or imagine tiny cells working like bricklayers repairing the bone. Talk to your organ. Thank you, liver. You are clean. You are perfect. In that trance state, biological resistance disappears. Hypnagogia versus hypnopompia. We have talked about the entrance to sleep, hypnagogia, but there is another door. The exit door, hypnopompia. It is the moment right upon waking. The alarm sounds, or you wake up naturally. You are groggy. You don't know what day it is. You don't know who you are for a few seconds. Your guard is still in the bathroom washing his face. The door is still open. This moment is pure gold, and most waste it in the worst possible way. They grab their mobile and look at the news or social media, immediate negative programming, or they start reviewing the day's list of problems. Stop. Those first 5 minutes of the morning are the rudder of your day. Stay still in bed. Do not open your eyes. Take advantage of the mental fog. Feel gratitude. Smile. Visualize how you want the day to be. Today, everything goes well for me. Today, I have a magical encounter. You are pre-paving your day. Downloads from the cloud. Returning to Edison's use. If you have a problem you don't know how to solve, a dilemma, a difficult decision, use Hypnagogia to ask. Just when you are drifting off, toss the question into the void. What is the solution for X? And let go. It happens because in Theta, you are connected to the universal mind, the Akashic record. All the answers are there. Your beta brain is a local hard drive, limited. Your theta brain is the Wi-Fi connection to the cloud, unlimited. Learn to connect to download the files you need. The warning of the bad trip. Like all power, this has a risk. If you enter Hypnagogia with fear, you will see monsters. It's that simple. Hypnagogic hallucinations can be terrifying if your vibration is low. Sleep paralysis, feeling like someone is in the room and not being able to move, occurs in this state. It is a technical glitch. Your mind woke up in Theta, but your body is still asleep, REM paralysis. If this happens, do not panic. They are not real demons, though they seem like it. They are your own fears projected on the smoke screen of Theta. If it happens, relax. Say, "This is my mind, I am safe." Try to move just a pinky finger or breathe hard. That breaks the paralysis. Your practice for tonight. Tonight, don't go to bed just to pass out from exhaustion. Go to bed with a mission. You are a spy entering the enemy base. Prepare your short scene, your loop. Lie down. Do the ha breathing to charge mana. And wait for the guard. Wait for his eyelids to feel heavy. Wait for logic to become blurry. And when you feel that delicious fall into the abyss, jump. Insert your scene. Live it. Enjoy it. And let it be the last taste in your mouth before the nothingness. If you manage this, tomorrow will not be a normal day. Chapter 8. Wu-Wei and the Archer's Paradox. Have you ever tried to catch a wet bar of soap in the shower? If you close your hand gently, you have it. But if you try to grab it with force, with desperation, applying all the pressure of your muscles to make sure it doesn't escape, the soap shoots away from you. The more force you apply, the more control you lose. Have you ever tried to fall asleep when you have insomnia and know you must wake up early? You tell yourself, "I have to sleep, I have to sleep." And the harder you try, the more awake you are. The effort to sleep is what keeps you awake. Have you ever seen someone desperate to find a partner? They get dressed up, they go out, they search, they pursue, and they smell of desperation. No one approaches them. They repel love with their anxiety. And the moment they give up, relax, and say, "I'm fine alone," the love of their life appears. Welcome to Chapter 8, Wu-Wei and the Archer's Paradox. Here we are going to dismantle the biggest cultural lie of the West. Hard effort is the key to success. No, hard effort is the key to exhaustion. Massive success, the kind that looks like magic, operates under an inverse physical law. Today you will learn the art of action without action. You will learn to stop rowing against the current, to start using the force of the river in your favor. The story of Chuang Tzu's archer. Let's travel to the 4th century BC. The Taoist philosopher Chuang Tzu told a story that perfectly explains why you are blocked. An expert archer enters a tournament. First, he is asked to shoot for fun without a prize. The archer is relaxed. His breathing is deep. His mind is empty. He draws the bow, releases the arrow, and perfect bullseye. He is a master. Then he is offered a silver prize if he hits. The archer gets a little tense. He aims more carefully. His heart beats a little faster. He shoots and hits, but not in the exact center. Finally, he is offered a prize of pure gold if he hits the next shot. Now the archer is sweating. He thinks of the gold. He thinks of what will happen if he fails. He thinks of the glory and the shame. His pulse trembles. He shoots and misses the target completely. Chuang Tzu concludes, when the archer shoots for nothing, he has all his skill. When he shoots for a gold prize, he becomes blind and crazy. His skill has not changed, but the prize divides him. He cares. He thinks more of winning than of shooting, and the need to win drains his power. This is your life. You are the archer. Your desire is the gold. You are capable. You have the divine DNA. But you give so much importance to the result. You are so afraid of failing that you become clumsy. Mental tension creates physical tension, and physical tension deflects the arrow. To hit the mark, you have to shoot as if you didn't care about the gold. Wu-Wei, it's not laziness, it's fluidity. The solution to this paradox is the Chinese concept of Wu-Wei. It translates literally as non-doing or effortless action. The West misinterprets this as laziness or sitting around waiting. Nothing could be further from the truth. Wu-Wei is the way nature acts. Water does not try to flow, it flows, and yet it erodes the hardest rock. The tree does not strive to grow, it grows, and yet it becomes a giant. Wu-Wei is the action that arises when you are aligned with the Tao, the flow of the universe. It is the difference between rowing and sailing. Rowing, forced action. You use your own muscular energy, you get tired, you go slow, you fight the water. Sailing, Wu-Wei. You hoist the sail and let the wind, a force greater than you, push you. You only steer the rudder gently. Metaphysics That Works asks you to drop the oars and raise the sails. Stop pushing reality. Allow reality to carry you. Internal intention versus external intention. Quantum physicist Vadim Zeland explains this with technical precision. There are two types of intention. Internal intention, the will of the ego. I insist. I will get this by brute force. This is the archer trembling for the gold. It has very limited power. External intention, the will of the universe acting through you. This is when things fix themselves. You decide what you want, and then you let the car take you there. You don't get out to push the car. External intention is that cold, impersonal, and powerful force that moves coincidences so that your goal comes to you. The mountain comes to Muhammad. To activate it, you must renounce internal intention, the struggle. You must enter a state of renunciation of possession. Paradoxically, the moment you release the grip of necessity, external intention activates and delivers the order. The law of excessive potentials. Why does the universe hate excessive effort? Because the universe seeks equilibrium. Imagine that reality is a calm lake. If you give gigantic importance to something, you are creating a giant wave in the lake. You are creating an excessive potential. Nature hates imbalances. If you create an excessive potential of importance, I need this job or I'll die, the universe will immediately send balancing forces to eliminate that excess energy. And what is the fastest way to eliminate your excess importance? By taking away what you desire. If you don't get the job, you can no longer give it importance. The lake calms down. The universe sabotages you to restore energy balance. Your obsession is the cause of your failure. When you are relaxed and yourself, you get hired. When you are tense and desperate, you are rejected. The art of lowering importance. If you want to hack reality, you have to learn to lower importance. Note, this doesn't mean you don't want the goal. It means you don't care about the outcome. It is the attitude of the professional player. A pro poker player wants to win, but he doesn't sweat or pray. He plays with coolness. That coolness makes him win. How do you lower importance? Accept the worst-case scenario. Visualize what happens if you fail. Accept it. If I fail, I won't die. By accepting defeat beforehand, you become invulnerable. Use humor. Laughter breaks tension. Laugh at your problem. Have a plan B. Never bet everything on a single card. Your anxiety drops and your Wu-Wei rises. Inspired action versus forced action. Wu-Wei doesn't mean staying on the sofa. It means acting only when you feel the wave. Have you ever seen a surfer? The surfer spends 90% of the time floating on the board, watching the horizon. He doesn't row against every wave. But when he sees the big wave, he moves. He rows hard, stands up, and lets himself be carried. In that moment, the force that moves him is not his own. It is the force of the ocean. Most people are rowing on the flat. They row all day without waves. They exhaust themselves and don't advance. The master of Wu-Wei waits. He observes. And when he feels the impulse of Kairos, he acts with decision. That action feels light. If what you are doing feels heavy, like dragging stones, stop. You are violating Wu-Wei. Find the path of least resistance. The releasing the neck technique. Imagine your desire is a cat. If you chase the cat, it flees. If you corner it, it scratches you. If you sit quietly and do your things, The cat comes and rubs against your legs. Visual technique. Visualize that you're grabbing the neck of your desire and suffocating it with your hands out of anxiety. The desire is turning blue. It can't breathe. Mentally open your hands. Visualize releasing the neck. Say to it, "You are free. If you want to come, come. If not, I am fine without you." I am. Feel the relief in your body. That moment of surrender is magic. Often the call you were waiting for arrives 5 minutes after you have sincerely surrendered. Cold faith. Religion speaks of a burning and passionate faith. Advanced metaphysics speaks of a cold faith. It is quiet knowledge. If you go to a restaurant and order a dish, you don't go to the kitchen every 2 minutes to ask, "Is it ready? Are you sure?" No. You sit, drink your wine and chat. You know it's coming. That is cold faith. It is the arrogant certainty that the universe is a luxury restaurant and you have placed the order. Anxiety is bad manners. It insults the cook, God. Practice elegant indifference. Flow in business and projects. In the business world, Wu-Wei is vital. The novice entrepreneur wants to force the market. He crashes. The wise entrepreneur listens to the market. He flows with demand. He finds where the open door is instead of trying to tear down the wall. Amazon, Google, Apple, they didn't grow by fighting. They grew by finding a giant wave of human need and surfing it. Stop falling in love with your product and fall in love with the flow. If a door closes, don't bang on it. It's a sign. That's not the way. Turn your head. The archer's paradox resolved. Back to the archer. How does he win the gold? By forgetting the gold. The archer must enter a trance state where only he, the bow, and the target exist. The prize doesn't exist. He shoots for the pure pleasure of mastery. If you manage to enjoy the process and disregard the result is inevitable. The universe rewards those who enjoy the game, not those who play only to win. If you are writing a book, don't write to be a bestseller. Write because writing gives you pleasure. The bestseller will be the side effect. This is the supreme teaching. Seek the kingdom, the flow Tao, and all other things will be added unto you. Your Wu-Wei mantra. Starting today, when you feel the tension rise, when you feel you are pushing the river, stop, breathe, and repeat this mantra. I do not do it. It happens through me. Get out of the way. You, the small tense ego, are the obstacle. Let the great intelligence take control of your hands and your tongue. You will see that you say smarter things. You will make more precise movements. You become a tuned instrument. And the music will be perfect, because it is the music of the Tao. Chapter 9. Personal Egregore, your daemon or genius. You look at the extraordinary people of history. You look at Michelangelo sculpting the David. You look at Mozart composing his Requiem on his deathbed. You look at Steve Jobs visualizing the iPhone, and you ask yourself, where do they get that from? How does so much greatness fit into a human brain? The answer is simple. It doesn't fit. If you try to shove the voltage of infinite genius into the small nervous system of a human mammal, the system burns out. The wires melt. This is why we see so many geniuses who end up in madness, drugs, or suicide. Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Van Gogh. They were destroyed by an energy they believed was theirs, which they tried to contain within their ego, and which devoured them from the inside. Modern man commits a fatal error. He believes he is the source of his ideas. He believes talent lives inside his skull. This puts unbearable pressure on the individual. If you are the source, then you are responsible for being brilliant all the time. If you get blocked, it is you who fails. If you age, your genius dies. You live terrified of losing your touch. You live with imposter syndrome, thinking, what if they realize I'm not that good? The ancients, however, were wiser. They knew that the human being is not the source, he is the channel. In ancient Greece, no one said, I am a genius. They said, I have a daimon. In Rome, no one said, what a genius man. They said, that man has a genius. Do you notice the difference? The genius or daimon was not you. It was a spiritual entity, a kind of invisible, divine, and whimsical sprite that lived in the walls of your studio and every now and then decided to visit you and whisper a brilliant idea in your ear. Your job was not to be brilliant. Your job was to be available, brush in hand, in case the genius decided to appear. Welcome to Chapter 9, Personal Egregore. Today we are going to rescue this psychological and metaphysical technology. We are going to stop trying to be gods and learn how to hire one. We are going to learn to create an egregore, an autonomous energetic entity that will work for you, that will carry the weight of creativity, and that will free you forever from the loneliness of the creator. What is an egregore? In occultism and advanced metaphysics, an egregore is a thought form that has taken on a life of its own. When many people think about the same thing with intensity, for example, fanaticism for a soccer team or the fervor of a religion, a cloud of collective energy is created. That cloud is an egregore. It has life. It feeds on the attention of its followers and influences them. That is why when you enter a soccer stadium, you feel an emotion that is not yours. It is the egregore of the mass possessing you. But you don't need a mass to create one. You can create a personal egregore. You can take a part of your psychic energy, separate it from your ego, give it a name, give it a function, and give it autonomy. By doing so, you create a metaphysical assistant. The Tibetans call it a tulpa. Artists call it a muse. Programmers and mathematicians often speak of the other who solves problems while they sleep. It is not schizophrenia. It is a user interface to access the superconscious. It is much easier to dialogue with someone than to dialogue with the nothing. The tragedy of the Renaissance. For centuries, humanity functioned with the model of the external daimon. This kept artists humble and healthy. If you wrote a masterpiece, you didn't become arrogant because you knew the genius had dictated it to you. You just gave thanks. If you wrote trash, you didn't get depressed because you knew the genius that day was lazy or didn't come. You did your part, working, but he didn't. You were emotionally protected, but the Renaissance arrived, and the human ego inflated. We started putting man at the center of the universe, humanism. We decided to kill the external daimon and internalize it. We started saying, I am a genius. Modern anxiety was born there. We put the burden of divinity on the shoulders of mere mortals, and the mortals broke. Having to be divine every morning at 8 a.m. is an impossible job. Today we are going to reverse the Renaissance. We are going to take the genius out of your head and put it by your side where it belongs. The story of Tom Waits. The writer Elizabeth Gilbert tells a wonderful anecdote about the musician Tom Waits. Tom was driving on a highway in Los Angeles. The traffic was terrible. He was stressed. Suddenly he heard a beautiful melody in his head, the beginning of a perfect song. But he had no paper, no recorder, and he couldn't stop the car. He began to panic. I'm going to lose it. It's going to go away. The anguish of creative responsibility overwhelmed him until suddenly he stopped. He looked up at the roof of the car and shouted into the air, Hey you, don't you see I'm driving? Does this seem like a good time? If you want to exist, come back when I'm in the studio in front of the piano. If not, go bother someone else. That is applied metaphysics. Tom Waits treated inspiration not as something of his own that he was failing to capture, but as an untimely external entity. By externalizing it, he removed the anxiety. He relaxed, and curiously, the melody came back later when he was ready. The genius respects those who respect themselves. Creation protocol. How to manufacture your daimon. You don't need black candles or strange rituals. You need intent and imagination. You're going to create an intentional psychological separation. Step 1. The definition of function. What do you want this egregore for? To write books, to find business opportunities, to have charisma on stage? Do not try to create an egregore for everything. Specialization gives power. Let's say you are a writer. You need a genius of narrative. Step 2. Personification. Give it form. The subconscious works with symbols. Give your genius a form. Is it a wise old man? A robot of light? A power animal? A wolf? An eagle? A sphere of fire? The form doesn't matter. What matters is what that form evokes in you. Step 3. The baptism, the name. The name is the activation code. Give it a name. Do not tell anyone. It is your password. It can be a real name, a word in another language, or a sound. When you call the name, the egregore activates. You, genius's name. Commit to bringing the magic, the inspiration, the coincidences, and the external intention. I provide the sweat. You provide the brilliance. If I work and you don't appear, it is not my fault. I will sleep peacefully. If the work is a success, I will give the credit to you and feed you with gratitude. You, Tama's genius's name, commit to bringing the magic, the inspiration, the coincidences, and the external intention. I provide the sweat. You provide the brilliance. If I work and you don't appear, it is not my fault. I will sleep peacefully. If the work is a success, I will give the credit to you and feed you with gratitude. Signed, you. This contract seems like a game, but it has a devastating psychological effect. It eliminates the fear of being blocked. You are no longer alone in front of the blank page. There are two of you, and the pressure is shared. How to feed the egregore, and how not to starve it. An egregore is an entity of energy. It needs to eat. What does an egregore eat? It eats attention and action. If you create a genius for business, but you spend the month watching Netflix and never talk to him or work on your project, the egregore weakens. It becomes transparent. It dissolves. Or worse yet, it becomes a poltergeist, a mocking spirit. Unused creative energy rots and becomes destructive. If you have a great talent and don't use it, that talent starts to eat you. It gives you anxiety, envy of those who do succeed, and bitterness. That is your diamond starving and biting your ankles, so you will feed him. To feed it. Entrance ritual. Before starting work, invoke it. I am here, name. Let's get to work. Deep work. Every hour you spend concentrated on your task is a feast for the egregore. It becomes stronger, denser, and smarter. Gratitude. The dessert. When you finish or when you have a good idea, say, "Thank you, that was a good one." Acknowledge its contribution. Over time, you will notice something chilling, in a good way. The egregore will start to act on its own. You will start to find books falling off the shelf right at the page you needed. You will receive emails from people saying, "I don't know why, but I thought of you." You will wake up with the complete solution in your head. The egregore has become an automated server. The empty chair. I have a practical technique for your work sessions. Put an empty chair next to yours, or reserve a space on your desk. Visualize that your daemon is sitting there. When you get stuck, physically turn toward the empty chair and ask, "What do we do now? How do we solve this?" Wait, the answer will come. Sometimes it will come as a voice in your head that sounds slightly different from your own, calmer, more authoritative. Sometimes it will come as an image. By externalizing the question toward an empty chair, you break the closed loop of your logical brain, which is stuck, and open the door to projected intuition. The geniuses of the greats. Do you think this is fantasy? Let's talk about Carl Jung. He had an internal guide named Philemon, with whom he held long conversations, and from whom he learned much of his deep psychology. Jung painted Philemon and treated him as a real person. Let's talk about Napoleon Hill. In his deepest moments, he summoned an invisible council of imaginary mentors, Lincoln, Emerson, Napoleon, and asked them for advice. He swore that over time, those characters took on a life of their own and gave him information he did not know. Let's talk about Socrates. He always spoke of his daimon who warned him when he was about to make a mistake. Were they crazy? Perhaps. But they were the kind of crazy that changed history. Controlled folly is the tool of the magician. Believing you are alone in your brain is the true limiting madness. The danger of idolatry. A safety warning. Your egregore works for you. You do not work for it. You are the physical body, the anchor in reality. You have the last word. Sometimes the inspiration, the genius, will ask you to work 20 hours straight, not to eat, to abandon your family, to consume yourself in the bonfire of art. The genius has no biological body, so he doesn't understand exhaustion or health. He only wants the work to exist. If you let him take total command, he will kill you, as happened to many artists in the 27 Club. You have to be the sober captain. You have to tell the genius, "Stop, today we rest, I need to sleep, tomorrow we continue." You must domesticate the beast. The limit is set by you, the intellectual property of the universe. When you work with an egregore, you understand something profound about ideas. Ideas are not yours. Ideas are energetic beings seeking to manifest. The genius brings the idea and knocks on your door. If you don't open, because of laziness or fear, the genius doesn't die. He leaves. He goes to look for another artisan who does want to work. Has it happened to you that you have a great idea for an invention, you don't do it, and 2 years later you see that someone else has patented it? You say, "They stole my idea." No one stole from you. The Egregore came to you first. You said no. The Egregore went to the neighbor's house. Elizabeth Gilbert says, "Ideas do not wait forever." If you want the genius to stay with you, you must be a fast and diligent host. The corporate Egregore, master mind. This principle also applies to groups. When you form a company or a team, if everyone focuses on the same vision, you create a group Egregore. Napoleon Hill called it a master mind. That third mind is smarter than the sum of its parts. If you work in a team, perform a starting ritual. We invoke the spirit of this project. Define what the project wants. Treat the project as a living being. What does the project need now? Sometimes the project asks for things that go against the logic of the owners. If they listen to the Egregore of the project, they succeed. Your traveling companion. From today on, never say "I am alone" again. It is a lie. You have your quantum double, Chapter 4, fixing the future. You have your ancestors, Chapter 5, behind you, hopefully already healed and supporting you. And now you have your personal Egregore, Chapter 9, by your side, ready to work. You have an invisible entourage. Walk through life with the confidence of one who is escorted by higher forces. When you enter a difficult meeting, say mentally, "Genius, you go in first. Put the words in my mouth." When you have to create, say, "Genius, sit at the keyboard. I just provide the fingers." Take the weight off your little biological I. Play at being the channel. It's more fun, less tiring, and paradoxically, it will make you look like a genius in the eyes of others. Chapter 10, The Microcosmic Orbit, Taoist Alchemy. Look around you, and you will see a silent epidemic. Fatigue. People wake up tired, work tired, and go to sleep exhausted. They drink coffee, energy drinks, and vitamins, but 2 hours later, they are empty again. They are like mobile phones with damaged batteries. They charge to 100%, but as soon as you unplug them, they drop to 10% in minutes. They live in power-saving mode. Their screen is dim. Their processor is slow, and then you see other people, the rare ones. Those people who walk into a room and it's as if the light turned on. They have a sparkle in their eyes. They have a magnetic presence. They work harder than anyone, yet they don't seem to wear out. They have charisma. People are drawn to them like moths to a light bulb. What do they have that you don't? Genetics? Luck? Expensive vitamins? No. They have a closed circuit. You are a bucket full of holes. You generate energy, but you lose it immediately. They are a sealed generator. They recycle their own energy, multiply it, and create an electromagnetic field around them. Welcome to Chapter 10, The Microcosmic Orbit. Today we travel to the mountains of ancient China to learn the secret of Taoist immortality. I am not going to teach you to meditate to relax. I am going to teach you to rewire your electrical system. You are going to learn to connect the two main wires of your body, to stop being a draining battery and become a self-sustaining dynamo. The body as a biological battery. For Taoists, the human body is not just flesh and bones, it is a container of qi, vital energy. But there is a design flaw in the average human being. The circuit is cut. We are born with two main energy channels. The governor channel, Dumai. This is the yang fire channel. It rises from the perineum, runs up the entire spine, passes through the back of the neck, and reaches the upper palate, just behind the teeth. The conception channel, Renmai. This is the yin water channel. It starts at the tip of the tongue, goes down the throat, the chest, the navel, and ends at the perineum. Observe the design. The back channel, rising, ends at the palate. The front channel, falling, starts at the tongue. There is a gap. If the tongue does not touch the palate, the wires are disconnected. The energy goes up the back, reaches the head, and has nowhere to go down. It stagnates. This causes headaches, overthinking, insomnia, anxiety, and mental overheating. And because it doesn't go down to be recycled, it dissipates outward. It is lost. You live with a constant high-voltage leak. The magpie bridge, the secret switch. The ancient masters called the connection between the tongue and the palate the magpie bridge. It is the master switch. Look at newborn babies. They almost always sleep with their tongue pressed against the palate. Instinctively, they know how to close the circuit. Look at great athletes or people in deep concentration. They often press their tongue against the palate without realizing it. Your first task as an alchemist is conscious and physical. Press your tongue to the roof of your mouth, just behind the upper front teeth where there are small ridges in the gum. Hold it there. Do it now. The moment you touch that point, you close the circuit. Positive and negative connect. The light turns on. This simple action, maintained throughout the day, can increase your energy level by 30% instantly because you stop wasting it. The orbit, the path of flow. But closing the switch is only the beginning. Now you have to circulate the current. The microcosmic orbit is the practice of consciously guiding the chi in a continuous loop, up the back, down the front. By doing this, you create a centrifugal effect. You create a toroid. A toroid is a geometric shape like a donut. It is the most stable and powerful shape in the universe. The Earth's magnetic field is a toroid. Black holes are toroids. When you spin your energy in orbit, you generate a magnetic field around you that protects you and makes you attractive. Practical protocol. How to execute the orbit. You don't need to go to a monastery. You can do this on the bus, in a meeting, or before sleep. Step 1. Generate the chi. Sit with your back straight. Rub your hands together strongly until they are hot. Place your attention on your lower tan tien, the center of gravity, 3 fingers below your navel, inward. Imagine a ball of fire or golden light there. Breathe abdominally. With each inhalation, fan the fire. Step 2. The descent, yin. With your tongue on the palate, inhale. As you exhale, visualize that ball of light moving down from the navel to the perineum, the pelvic floor between the genitals and the anus. Slightly contract the anal sphincter. This is vital. It's like putting a plug so the energy doesn't fall out the bottom. Step 3. The ascent, yang. Inhale and visualize pulling that energy upward. It rises from the perineum, enters the sacrum, base of the spine. It goes up through the lumbar, gate of life, Ming Men, up through the thoracic spine, up through the neck, base of the skull, jade pillow, until it reaches the crown, Bai Hui. Step 4. The closing. Exhale and let the energy fall like a waterfall down the face. It passes through the third eye, passes through the nose, passes through the magpie bridge, tongue on palate. As it crosses the tongue, the energy changes flavor. It becomes cool, liquid. Taoists say it becomes nectar. It goes down the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, and returns to the tan tien, navel. You have completed one orbit. Repeat it. Inhale, rising up the back. Exhale, falling down the front. Imagine a water wheel spinning. At first, it is imagination. With practice, you will feel real heat, real tingling, or electrical vibration in the spine. It is biological electricity circulating through the nervous system. The Tan Tien, your savings account. Why do we do this? Because energy that is not stored is lost. The Tan Tien, elixir field, is your battery. Most people have a broken battery. They generate emotion, energy, and vomit it out immediately, screaming, crying, laughing hysterically, talking too much. The alchemist learns to store. At the end of the orbit practice, it is crucial that you do not stand up suddenly. You have to save the medicine. Place your hands over your navel. Visualize the energy ball becoming small, dense, and bright, like a pearl, and storing itself in the center of your abdomen. Tell your body, save this for when I need it. When your Tantien is full, you have weight, you have gravity. People notice it. It is stability. It is hard to push you, physically and emotionally. You are a roly-poly toy. You get hit and you return to the center, because your center of gravity is full of energy. Sexual alchemy, the nuclear fuel. I must touch upon a delicate but potent subject. What is the strongest energy the human body produces? Sexual energy, Jing. It is the energy capable of creating biological life. It is nuclear energy. The average human wastes this energy. Men expel it, compulsive ejaculation. Women disperse it, menstruation and emotional imbalance. For the Taoist, throwing away sexual energy is like throwing gasoline onto the street. That gasoline should be in the engine. The microcosmic orbit is the way to recycle sexual energy. When you feel arousal, instead of seeking to release it immediately, you can use your mind to pull it up the spine. Visualize the fire from the genitals rising up the back and reaching the brain. This is called sexual transmutation. You convert Jing, sex matter, into Qi, energy, vitality, and then into Shen, spirit, consciousness. The brain fed with sublimated sexual energy functions at a genius level. Napoleon Hill spoke of this in Think and Grow Rich. I am not telling you to be celibate. I am telling you not to be a spendthrift. Use the orbit to move that fire to heal your organs or empower your projects. Energy vampirism and protection. We live in a predatory world. There are people who are energy vampires. You sit and talk with them for 10 minutes and when they leave you feel exhausted and depressed, and they leave happy and glowing. They have eaten you. How did they eat you? Because your circuit was open. You had leaks. The vampire cannot steal energy from a closed circuit. If you have your tongue on your palate, your sphincter closed, and the orbit spinning, you are a smooth, sealed surface. The vampire tries to hook on and slips off. This is the best psychic protection that exists. You don't need to pray prayers of fear. You need to close your circuit. Next time you are in front of a toxic person or a dense crowd, press your tongue to the palate. Contract the perineum. Focus on your navel. Cross your arms or fingers, closing external circuits too. Magnetism and charisma. The donut effect. Why are we attracted to certain people? It's not just physical beauty. Magnetism is, literally, the size and speed of your toroidal field. When you practice the orbit daily, your energy flow accelerates. Like a fast-spinning dynamo, the magnetic field expands. You go from a 4-inch field to a 10-foot field. When you enter a room, your field touches others before you do. They feel a pleasant vibration. That is charisma. Charisma is not something you do, smiling, posture. It is something you emit. If you want to sell more, lead better, or seduce, do the orbit. Health and self-healing. The flow of the orbit passes through all vital organs and all endocrine glands, thyroid, thymus, adrenal, pineal. By circulating the qi, you are washing the organs. You are removing stagnant energy, disease, and bringing in fresh energy. It's like an irrigation system. Cancer and degenerative diseases are, in the Taoist view, zones of stagnant water in the body. Energy that did not circulate. Moving the orbit is the best preventive medicine. You keep the river running. The invisible practice. The best thing about this technique is that it is invisible. No one knows you are doing it. You can be in a boring meeting. Instead of falling asleep, do the orbit. You leave the meeting fresher than when you entered. You turn dead time into cultivation time. You become a constant power accumulator. While others wear themselves out with stress, you feed on every situation to spin your wheel. From battery to generator. You have spent your whole life being a disposable battery, seeking energy outside, food, stimulants, attention. Today you become a generator. The source is inside. Perpetual motion exists, and it is in your spine. If you practice this for 100 days, your physiological structure will change. You will need less sleep. Your voice will have more resonance. Your eyes will have that special Shen spark. And most importantly, you will have the voltage necessary to materialize. The universe does not listen to the weak. It listens to intensity. Chapter 11. Synchronicity and Symbolic Language. You are driving your car, obsessively thinking about a difficult problem. Should I quit my job? Should I leap into the unknown? You are full of doubt. Your logical mind, the guard, tells you not to do it, that it is dangerous. Suddenly, on the radio, a song starts playing that you haven't heard in 10 years. The chorus says, "Free yourself, leap, don't look back." You freeze. You look out the window and a moving truck passes by with a giant slogan painted on the side. The moment is now. You look at the clock, 11:11. You feel a chill run down your spine. Goosebumps break out on your skin. In that instant, logic collapses. You know, with a certainty that does not come from the brain, that the universe has just answered you. What just happened? Was it chance? A statistical hallucination? No. It was a glitch in the matrix. It was a synchronicity. The universe broke its habitual silence to speak to you directly. The problem is that most people are illiterate in the language of God. They see the signs, but they don't know how to read them. Or worse, they see them and dismiss them as silly coincidences, losing the guidance that could have saved their lives. Welcome to Chapter 11, Synchronicity and Symbolic Language. Today you are going to learn to read the subtitles of reality. You are going to discover that you do not live in a world of inert and mute matter. You live inside a giant mind that is constantly in dialogue with you. But that mind does not speak Spanish. It doesn't speak English. It's not going to send you a WhatsApp. That mind speaks the language of dreams, symbols, archetypes, and mathematics. If you learn to decode it, you will never have to make a blind decision again. You will have the most sophisticated GPS in creation. Reality as a lucid dream. To understand the signs, you have to change your paradigm of what reality is. If you believe the outside world is a stage of rocks and cement separate from you, the signs make no sense. But advanced metaphysics and quantum physics tell us something unsettling. Waking life and dreaming are the same thing. When you dream at night, your mind creates a stage, creates characters, and creates events. If a monster appears in your dream, you know that monster isn't real. It's a projection of your own fear. It is a symbol. Real life is exactly the same, only denser and more persistent. What you call the outside world is a holographic projection of your collective inner world. Therefore, everything you see outside is telling you something about what is inside. The bird that perches on your window, the repeating number, the conversation you overhear on the subway. These are not random events. They are icons on your mental computer screen. They are messages from the operating system. Carl Jung and the Golden Scarab. The father of this concept was the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. He coined the term synchronicity to define a causal, meaningful coincidence. That is, two events that have no physical cause-effect relationship but are united by meaning. The famous story tells that Jung was treating a very rational, logical Cartesian patient. They weren't making progress. She was blocked in her rationalism. One day she was telling him an impressive dream where someone gave her a golden scarab, an Egyptian symbol of rebirth. At that exact moment, something tapped softly on the office window. Jung opened the window and caught the flying insect. It was a Cetonia aurata beetle, an insect that wasn't usually there and had a bright golden-green color, the closest thing to a golden scarab found in those latitudes. Jung tossed the beetle to the patient and said, "Here is your scarab." That impossible event broke the patient's rational mind. The shock was such that her logical resistance collapsed, and her healing could begin. The universe conspired to break her block. That is what synchronicity does. It comes to wake you up. It comes to say, "Hey, stop looking at the floor. There is something bigger operating here." Signal versus noise, the filter of truth. Now be careful. This is where people go crazy and superstitious. They start seeing signs in everything. I dropped my fork. That means my boyfriend is cheating on me. I saw a cloud shaped like a dog. That means I have to buy a dog. That is not synchronicity. That is paranoia or confirmation bias. If you desperately search for a sign, your brain will manufacture it, apophenia, seeing patterns where there are none. How do you distinguish a real signal from mental noise? By the visceral impact. A true synchronicity hits you. It feels like an electric click in the chest. It interrupts your thought. It leaves you a bit stunned. It has a very low statistical probability, like Jung's scarab. If you see a red car and say it's a sign, but you see 20 red cars a day, it's not a sign. But if you are thinking about traveling to Japan and suddenly you find a yen bill on the ground in your city, and then you enter a cafe and Japanese music is playing, that is a sign. The real signal breaks probability. And above all, it brings new information. It gives you an answer or a direction you hadn't considered. If the sign only confirms your neurotic fears, it's probably your projected fear, not the universe speaking. The personal dictionary. The universe does not have a universal dictionary. A black cat in Europe might mean bad luck. In Egypt, it meant good luck, protection. If a black cat crosses your path, What does it mean? It depends on your internal dictionary. The universe uses your own database of symbols to speak to you. If for you the number 13 is fear, the universe will use 13 to warn you. If for you 13 is luck, the universe will use it to encourage you. Therefore, don't Google, what does it mean to dream about a snake? Ask yourself, how do I feel about snakes? Fear, disgust, respect, wisdom? The answer is in your emotion, not in a book. You must create your own code. Tell the universe. Universe, for me, butterflies mean transformation. Feathers mean protection. Once you establish the code, the universe will respect it and start using those emojis to chat with you. Repeating numbers, 11, 11, 333, etc. Let's talk about this because it's the entry gate for many. Why do you see 11, 11, 22, 22, 333 constantly? Beyond mystical numerology, seeing repeating numbers is a sign of system alignment. It's like when you are tuning a radio and suddenly the green stereo light turns on. The signal is clear. When you see master numbers, the universe is telling you, you are online. Your consciousness and your subconscious are synchronized in this moment. It's a wink. It's a check-in. Don't obsess over complex meanings. Simply take it as a confirmation. Okay, I am awake. I am in the flow. I keep moving forward. Give thanks and move on. The consultation technique, the active oracle. You don't have to wait passively for the universe to speak. You can provoke the conversation. You can use the consultation technique. If you have a dilemma, A or B, do this. Leave your house. Go to a place with movement, a busy street, a park, a bookstore. Launch the question mentally. Universe, should I accept this job? Give me a clear sign in the next 20 minutes. Let go and walk, drift mode. Don't look, just wander. Overhear fragments of conversations. Look at billboards. Look at license plates. Keep your peripheral vision and floating attention. Suddenly you will hear two strangers talking. One will say, "It was the best decision of my life, go for it." Or you will see a sign that says, "Danger, construction zone." The answer will arrive, and you will recognize it by the click. It is impressive how literal the universe can be when you ask a direct question. The drift, dérive, getting lost to find yourself. The French situationists had a practice called the drift. It consisted of walking through the city without a destination, letting oneself be guided by the attraction of the terrain. Metaphysically, this is gold. It is training your internal compass. Go for a walk without a destination. Reach a corner. Ask your body or your daimon, left or right. Feel the pull. Right. Go right. Now straight or cross. Cross. Follow the invisible thread. Often, this will lead you to magical places or key people. You are practicing Wu-Wei, Chapter 8 in motion. You are letting external intention lead your feet. The cosmic traffic light, flow versus friction. One of the most important forms of communication from the universe is through ease or difficulty. It is the traffic light system. Green light, flow. You make a decision and everything aligns. You get the appointment fast, you find parking. People smile. Message, keep going. This is the correct path. Red light, friction. You make a decision and everything jams. You lose your keys, the meeting is cancelled, you get a stomachache. Here are two options. It's a test. The universe is testing your persistence. How to know, because despite the difficulty, you feel a background passion. It's a warning. The universe is shouting, not that way. How to know, because you feel drained, grumpy, and that you are forcing a locked door. Learn to distinguish friction from a test. Generally, if the door is locked with a padlock, a chain, and a rabid dog, it's not a test of persistence. It's a sign that there is another door open next to it. Animals as totems. From ancient shamanism, animals are pure messengers. They have no ego. They are direct emanations of archetypes. If an animal crosses your path in an unusual way, pay attention. Birds, messengers of the air, mind spirit. A raptor, eagle, hawk usually indicates vision, power, looking from above. Insects, details, work, transformation. A butterfly is transformation. A spider is weaving destiny or patience. Snakes, healing, kundalini, shedding skin, hidden danger. Use the biology of the animal to decode the advice. If you see an ant carrying a giant leaf, persistence, teamwork. Inverse paranoia, Pronoia. The ultimate state of mind for reading signs is pronoia. It is the opposite of paranoia. The paranoid believes the universe is conspiring to harm them. The pronoic believes the universe is conspiring to make them happy and successful. If you miss your flight, the paranoid says, "The universe hates me." The pronoic says, "The universe just saved me from something, or wants me at this airport for a couple more hours because I'm going to meet someone important. Thank you." Pronoia is the most powerful self-fulfilling prophecy. You decide the universe is your friend, and the universe has no choice but to act like one. The silence of God. What happens when you ask for a sign and nothing happens? Absolute silence. No numbers, no songs, no birds, nothing. Silence is also a sign. It means two things. It's not the time, the fruit is not ripe. Wait, don't force. You are free. The universe says, in this matter there is no predetermined destiny. You choose. Whatever you choose will be fine. I give you carte blanche. Sometimes silence is the greatest compliment. It means the master trusts the student to take the helm without supervision. Use it to exercise your free will. Integration. Living in dialogue. Your life must become a constant dance. You take a step, action. The universe responds, signal. You correct the course. It's a waltz. You no longer walk alone and isolated. You walk in a world that is alive, intelligent, and responsive. Car license plates talk to you. Song lyrics advise you. The wind pushes you. You feel accompanied. You feel loved. You realize that never, not for a second, have you been disconnected from the source. This constant dialogue gives you an unfair advantage over the sleepers. They see chaos. You see patterns. They see instructions. You have direction. Chapter 12. Death as an Advisor. The Way of the Warrior. Watch people walking down the street and you see something strange. They live as if they were immortal. They postpone their dreams for someday. They save the beautiful dress for a special occasion. They endure a job they hate or a relationship that kills them because, better the devil you know. They fight over nonsense, over a scratch on the car, over a comment on social media. They spend entire years holding a grudge against a relative. They behave as if they had all the time in the universe, as if they had a signed guarantee that they are going to live for 500 years. I have to give you the most important news of this audiobook. News that you already know, but that you have buried under tons of denial. You are going to die. And I don't mean an abstract and distant death in a hospital 40 years from now. I mean that you are a fragile biological being, a bubble of carbon and water, anything. A blood clot the size of a seed, a distracted driver, an invisible virus, can turn off your switch today, before this chapter ends. This sounds terrifying to the ego, but for the metaphysical warrior, it is the supreme source of power. Most people flee from death. They don't talk about it. They close their eyes. The warrior runs toward it. He looks it in the eyes, and he turns it into his ally. Welcome to Chapter 12. Death as an Advisor. Today we are going to learn the final secret of the Toltec sorcerers. We are going to discover that death is not the end of the road. It is the companion walking by your side. If you have the courage to ask her, she will tell you exactly how to live. The hunter and the prey. In the universe, there are only two types of entities, hunters and prey. The prey lives in fear, reacting to the environment, grazing unconsciously until the predator appears. The hunter is alert. He knows the terrain. He has no fear. He has respect. The common man is prey to his circumstances. The warrior is a hunter of power, and what distinguishes the warrior is not that he is immortal. On the contrary, the warrior knows that he too is prey for death. He knows that death is hunting him. But unlike the sheep, the warrior decides, since I am going to die, I am going to die dancing. I am not going to surrender trembling. I am going to make my life a masterpiece so impeccable that, when death arrives, she has nothing to take but a worn-out and empty body, because I will have already spent it all living. This attitude changes your brain chemistry. It eliminates laziness, it eliminates doubt. When you know that your time is finite and that the countdown is running, you don't have time for shyness. Shyness is a luxury of the immortals. You do not have that luxury, you have urgency. The location of death. Don Juan Matus, the Yaqui shaman who taught Carlos Castaneda, gave him a precise physical coordinate. Death is not in the future. Death is not at the end. Death is at your left, at the distance of an outstretched arm, just behind your left shoulder. It is there right now while you listen to this. It is an eternal shadow that has walked with you since the day you were born. It is your most faithful witness. It never abandons you. It watches you when you sleep. It watches you when you work. It watches you when you love. It is waiting for the moment when it has to touch your left shoulder and make you turn to lead you into infinity. The common man is terrified thinking about this. The warrior uses this presence. He knows that if he turns his head quickly to the left, he can catch a glimpse of the shadow. He feels its cold, and that cold wakes him up from everyday stupidity. The dialogue with the advisor. How do we use death in a practical way? We use it as an advisor of importance. We live embittered by insignificant problems. My boss yelled at me. I don't have the car I want. My girlfriend left me. I have a few extra pounds. We drown in a glass of water. We fall into depression. We feel like victims. In that moment when you feel your world collapsing over a human problem, do this. Turn your head to the left and ask your death, "Hey death, look at what's happening to me. Look at this tragedy. My business went bankrupt. My partner left. Is this serious? Is this the end?" And your death will answer you. Her voice is dry, cold, and absolutely truthful. She will tell you, "Don't talk nonsense. That is not serious. The only serious thing is that I touch you with my hand, and I haven't touched you yet. You are alive. You have energy. So stop crying, get up and use it. As long as I don't touch you, you do not have permission to give up. Everything else is just scratches." That answer puts everything in perspective instantly. In the face of death, what does it matter if someone insults you? It is ridiculous. What does it matter if you lose money? Money is paper. You are still here. Death cleans your mind of personal importance. Death is the great sweeper of nonsense. If you are afraid of public speaking, ask your death. She will laugh. Are you afraid of speaking? I am going to eat you soon and turn you into dust. What do you care what those other sacks of meat think? Suddenly the stage fright disappears. You become free. Impeccability, leaving no debts. Knowing that death lurks forces you to be impeccable. Impeccable does not mean holy or moral. Impeccable means making the best possible use of your energy. It means leaving no loose ends. If you leave home after a fight with your partner, slamming the door in and death touches you or them in the next hour, that was your last act. Your last memory on earth was a stupid fight. You take that burden into infinity. The warrior cannot afford that. The warrior lives every act as if it were his last battle on earth. When he washes dishes, he washes them as if it were the last time he will feel the water on his hands. He washes them with love, with presence. When he kisses his child, he kisses them with totality. He is not looking at his phone, he is there, because he knows it could be the last kiss. This intensity is not distressing, it is delicious. It gives life flavor. People live tasteless lives because they believe there will be another kiss tomorrow. The warrior savors today's kiss because he knows tomorrow is a promise, not a contract. If you knew you were going to die tonight, what would you do right now? Would you forgive? Would you call someone? Would you say, "I love you"? Then why are you waiting? Why do you assume you have time? Death tells you, do it now. Keep nothing back. Give yourself completely. The end of personal importance. Man's greatest enemy and the reason metaphysics doesn't work is personal importance. The ego, the belief that we are the center of the universe. Why me? I deserve more. They looked at me the wrong way. The ego is heavy. It consumes 90% of your energy defending and offending itself. An inflated ego cannot fly. It cannot enter the nagual, the magical. Death is the antidote to the ego. When you realize you are a temporary organism, that you will soon be ash and forgotten, the ego deflates. You realize you are not that important, and that is freedom. Being nobody allows you to be everything. If you don't have an image to defend, you can take risks. You can make a fool of yourself. You can fail and laugh. You can try that impossible business. The warrior is light because he does not carry his own statue. He broke it long ago. The final recapitulation. The traveler's suitcase. The Toltec say that upon dying we are devoured by the eagle, the source, the universe. But the eagle does not want your body, it wants your life experience, it wants your memories. Most people die clutching their memories, and the eagle dissolves them completely to extract them. The warrior performs a trick. He does the recapitulation, chapter 5, while alive. He relives his memories, extracts the emotion, recovers the energy, and delivers the clean memory to the eagle before dying. When death arrives, the warrior has already handed over the inventory. He has no attachments, he has no debts, he is free energy, and then he has the possibility of retaining his consciousness and becoming a traveler of the infinite instead of dissolving. The practical lesson is, travel light. Do not accumulate things that don't serve you. Do not accumulate grudges. Resentment is taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. And you don't have time for poisons. Your suitcase should contain only 2 things, love and knowledge. It is the only thing that, according to all esoteric traditions, survives the crossing of the threshold. Invest in that. The power of the irrevocable decision. Death gives you the power of decision. People hesitate eternally. Should I do this or that? The warrior looks to his left, sees the shadow and says, I don't have time to doubt. He makes a decision, and once made, he does not look back. If the result is bad, he takes responsibility and corrects it. If it is good, he enjoys it. But he does not waste energy on doubt and regret. Regret is the biggest waste of energy that exists, Don Juan used to say. Decide with death as your witness. A decision made in the face of death is a powerful decision. It has weight. I am going to quit this vice. If you say it before death, it is not an empty promise. It is a blood oath. Use your advisor to seal your pacts with yourself. The last dance. Life seen through the eyes of the warrior is not a valley of tears, it is a challenge. It is a magnificent stage where you come to test your temperance. Is the world chaotic? Yes. Is it unfair? Sometimes. So what? You are here to dance. Do not ask for the music to be perfect. Dance with the music that is playing. If the music is sad, dance a dramatic tango with passion. If the music is happy, dance jumping. But do not sit in the corner complaining about the orchestra. Death is waiting for you at the end of the floor. She will take you out to dance the last piece. Make sure that when she arrives, she finds you sweaty, tired, happy, and empty from having given so much. Let her not find you saving energy for later. There is no later. The death of the victim. This chapter is the funeral of your victim identity. The victim says, poor me, I'm going to die. The warrior says, because I'm going to die, my life is valuable. Gold is valuable because it is scarce. Your life is valuable because it is scarce. If you were immortal, your life would be worthless. You could waste 1,000,000 years and nothing would happen. Death is what gives value to the gold of your time. Kiss the hand of your advisor. Give her thanks. She is the one who makes today's sunrise an unrepeatable miracle. She is the one who makes your mother's hug a treasure, because one day she won't be there. Death is the creator of love. Without finiteness, there is no urgency to love. Exercise the living will. To close this chapter and this technical journey, do this mental exercise today. Sit in solitude. Close your eyes. Imagine that the doctor just told you that you have 24 hours left to live. There is no pain, but the end is certain. Feel the reality of that. Look at your current life. Do you care now about that debt? Do you care that your neighbor doesn't greet you? Do you care about having the new phone model? All of that turns to ash. Now, ask yourself, what do I regret not having done? What words were left stuck in my throat? What experience did I lack? That answer is your immediate mission. Open your eyes. You are not dead. You have the magical gift of another chance, but you don't know for how long. Go and do what you regretted in the visualization. Do it today. Do it this week. Do not fall back asleep. Death has given you a free pass for today. Use it. Conclusion. The magician in the marketplace. You have reached the end of the journey. You have climbed the mountain. You have seen the gears of reality. You have touched the mystery of the double, felt the flow of the Tao, and looked into the eyes of your death. Now your pockets are full of master keys. And here, the great temptation arises. The temptation is to stay at the top. The temptation is to lock yourself in your room, surrounded by incense crystals and books, and live in a bubble of high vibration, looking down with contempt at the noisy and chaotic world out there. Many fall into this trap. They become spiritual junkies. They feel superior, but they are unable to function in society. But this audiobook is not titled How to Escape Reality. It is titled Metaphysics That Actually Works. And for it to work, it must be tested under fire. The true master is not the one who levitates in a Himalayan cave. That is easy. In the cave, there is no one to bother you. The true master is the one who comes down from the mountain and walks through the marketplace. The marketplace is the real world. It is traffic, the office, bills, children's screams, crisis news, uncomfortable family gatherings. That is where your magic is proven. The disguise of the common man. Starting today, you become a secret agent. On the outside, you look the same as yesterday. You wear normal clothes. You go to the same job. You talk about football or the weather with your neighbors. But on the inside, you are an alien. On the inside, your assembly point is in another position. On the inside, you are dialoguing with your genius. You are sending your double to the future. You are closing your microcosmic orbit. No one knows, and that is what gives you power. The magician in the marketplace practices what the Toltecs called controlled folly. It means you play the game of society, but you know it is a game. You pay your taxes, but you do not suffer for them. You pay them by blessing the money, knowing it is circulating energy. You hear your boss shouting, and instead of taking offense, the reaction of prey, you observe him with curiosity, the gaze of a hunter. You know he is just a character in your lucid dream. Perhaps he is a signal. Perhaps he is a test of friction. You laugh on the inside. That internal laughter is your shield. People will notice something strange about you. They will say, "Why don't you get stressed? Why do things always work out for you?" You will just smile and say, "I'm lucky." Never try to explain advanced metaphysics to someone who is not ready. It is like trying to explain algebra to a fish. You will only waste your energy, mana, and confuse them. Your best preaching is your example. Let your life be so magnetic that they ask you. The final exam, family and chaos. Ram Dass used to say, if you think you are enlightened, go spend a week with your parents. The marketplace will test you. The universe will send you training angels disguised as unbearable people. That driver who cuts you off, that client who doesn't pay, that relative who criticizes, they are not enemies, they are examiners. They come to ask you, let's see, magician, is it true that you control your reality? Or are you still reacting like an automaton? If you react with automatic anger, you have failed. You have returned to being a prey of the environment. If you breathe, connect your tongue to your palate, lower the importance, Wu-Wei, and respond with impeccability, you have passed. You have transmuted lead into gold. Every difficult situation is a gym for your consciousness. Thank the idiots. They are your weights. Without them, your metaphysical muscle would be flabby. Absolute sovereignty. The final lesson of this book is radical responsibility. You can no longer blame the government. You can no longer blame the economy. You can no longer blame your childhood or your ancestors, because you already broke the contract in Chapter 5. You are the sovereign of your hologram. If your life is grey, it is because your projector is dirty. Clean the lens. If you are alone, it is because your radio signal emits loneliness. Change the frequency. Having total power is scary, but it is liberating. It means there are no victims in your universe. There are only volunteers. And you have just resigned from the volunteer work of suffering. Your legacy, the lighthouse in the storm. We live in strange times. The world seems to be collapsing. Old systems are falling. There is collective fear. In the midst of this storm, the magician in the marketplace has a vital function. You don't have to save the world, you have to hold the frequency. When everyone else panics, you stay calm. Law of rhythm. Your energetic stability acts as a lighthouse. Without saying a word, your presence calms those around you. Your toroidal field, Chapter 10, organizes the chaos around you. There will be peace in your house, even if there is war outside. There will be flow in your business, even if there is a crisis outside. That is your service to humanity, being a point of reference for divine order in the midst of entropy. The farewell. The game continues. This audiobook ends here, but your practice begins now. This is not theory to be stored in the brain. These are tools to get your hands dirty building an epic life. Do not seek perfection. Seek adventure. Make mistakes. Ask for crazy things from your double. Play with the signals. Treat life as what it is. A cosmic playground designed for God to experience himself through you. Do not be afraid. You are not alone. You have your team, child, higher self, double, genius, ancestors. You have the map, and you have death, guarding your back to remind you that every second is pure gold. Go out there, enter the marketplace, walk among the crowd with your secret shining in your chest, and always remember, you are not in the universe is in you.